972-570-4444 for 9% returns and no market risk. Make sure you check them out yourself. Tell them Sean Hannity sent you.
This is a message for everyone who suffers from tinnitus, the constant ringing or buzzing in your ears. Right now, Ringaway is inviting you to participate in a special nationwide giveaway of a new breakthrough that combats ear ringing. That's right, we're giving away free bottles of this fast-acting breakthrough to everyone who calls in the next 10 minutes. Just call 1-800-448-1916. If lines are busy, try again. This is an exclusive radio-only offer. Ringaway is our #1 product for ear ringing, and there's nothing like it. Powered by fast-acting, doctor-recommended ingredients, it's scientifically designed to combat ear ringing and buzzing, so you can work and sleep in peace. But you can only get a free bottle by calling now. Take part in this special nationwide giveaway and see for yourself. If you want the ringing to stop, call now for details and participate in this special nationwide giveaway of Ringaway. For your free bottle, just call in the next 10 minutes. 1-800-448-1916. Hurry, supplies are limited. 1-800-448-1916.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
How are we supposed to balance the budget when our appliances keep breaking down? Last month, it was the air conditioner. Before that, the refrigerator. What's it going to be next month?
It's hard enough these days trying to keep a balanced household budget. It's even harder when a home appliance or system breaks down unexpectedly. The repair bill could set you back months. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield helps protect your budget against those unexpected costs because they help pay covered repairs for you. Your air conditioner, plumbing, oven, refrigerator, water heater, and more. For helpful free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-322-4147. Service requests are subject to a fee for each trade call. Some exclusions and limitations apply. The truth is, home appliances and systems do break down. So why not get a home warranty and let American Home Shield help pay covered repair bills for you? For helpful free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to ahs.com. That's ahs.com. Or call 1-800-322-4147.
660 AM. The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. If you just heard me say that telephone number, call me immediately. It's kind of important. We're doing a little bit of a test here. So if you heard this telephone number, 866-660-5759, call executive producer Vicki Stifer right this moment and tell her, yeah, I heard it. 866-660-5759. You can find us on Facebook Live events. Actually, not Facebook Live events, YouTube Live events. If you want to, you can find us there. It's a lot of fun, and we're having just the time of our lives. I'm just saying. You can do that. Let's see. I've got that backwards, actually. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't think I can. I put it up on my Facebook pages. You can also find us on, You can also find us on the lovely and talented iHeartRadio. And you can also find us on our own streaming service, which is easy to find. 866-660-5759 is our telephone number. And call us if you are hearing this right this minute. Call us right now and take part in a small little audience participation game. We would appreciate that. Okay, so look. Here's the situation. These folks are Everybody is doing what they have to do. The McKinney police officer, Eric Casebolt, has quit. I don't know what he's going to do next. I'm sorry that his career with the McKinney police ended that way. All's well that ends well seems to be something that is tossed aside for the sake of political and journalistic. I can't use the term journalistic, corrupt journalistic sensationalism. Okay, make no mistake. If we're old enough to see it, if we are old enough to see it, right? What's going to end up happening is that we are going to see this age of journalism, this age of agenda journalism, be referred to as some of the most corrupt journalism in the history of the United States. Alexander in Fort Worth, Texas, listening to us on iHeartRadio. Man, I just wanted to say thanks for listening to us on iHeart. How do you like it? And he hung up on my ear. Well, there you go. 866-660-5759 is our telephone number. This is going to be a very bad bit of history for the journalistic endeavor. It's going to be terrible, in fact. And they deserve it. There is, without doubt, no excuse for the level of media corruption that we are enduring now, all for the sake of leftist politics. And as far as I'm concerned, it's piteous. It's piteous and it's terrible. And what we need to do is we need to find some way around it. And I guess it sounds self-serving. The only thing I can tell you is that there's an entire generation of kids, millennials, who think the news that they should watch is The Daily Show on Comedy Channel, Comedy Network. This show is at least as credible as that. I'm not trying to usurp any of the big network anchor people's, jobs. But I will bring you the news. I'll bring you the news and we'll talk about it. It's like an interactive newscast. That's what we do here on the Wells Report every single day. We're easy to get a hold of if you have a question. If you want to suggest that we look things over, if you catch us getting something wrong, let's all work together on trying to put the best newscast possible on the air every evening. I'm game. Vicki and I and Matt, we do this every single day. And what we are doing every single day is bringing you the best newscast we can. By the way, I want to tell you that the lovely and talented Ann Coulter has a new book. It's called Adios, America. And she is going to be joining us in just a little bit. In fact, at 10 o'clock tonight, Central Time, Ann Coulter on the Wells Report. Don't miss it. Back with more in just a moment.
The Mark Davis Show.
So are we making progress? Is the McKinney police response a study in law enforcement tactics, which is proper, or an opportunity to rip open racial wounds, which helps no one? We'll take the latest pulse and pay attention to other stories as well, like Don Rumsfeld questioning whether it's even a good idea to give Mideast nations a shot at democracy. We'll examine overnight news and welcome your calls on a Wednesday.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is David Davenport of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. June is busting out all over, the song says, and it will soon bust out at the U.S. Supreme Court. June is the month when many of the court's decisions and cases heard over the last 9 months will be announced. Obamacare has been in court since the day it was signed into law, which happens when a massive overhaul to a major system has very little debate or attention to detail. Drafters recently claimed that the issue in court now was a mistake, but it's not the Supreme Court's job to fix congressional mistakes. So the court should decide that Obamacare subsidies are not valid in states that do not have their own exchanges, as the law states, and send it back to Congress and the states. Same-sex marriage is being addressed just fine in the states and lower courts. There's really no need for a major Supreme Court declaration about it, and a conservative court should say so. Either way, decision time is here. I'm David Davenport.
This townhall.com commentary is brought to you by the Salem Radio Network.
If you're thinking about new windows for your home, here's what you have to consider. A quality-minded company that's been in business for a long time that'll be here if you need them in the future. that offers
We're back
several
on.
options for you to choose
Back on
from
the air.
with a good warranty and a fair price. Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling, and I'm happy to say my company meets all those requirements. We've been installing new windows in Texas homes for over 21 years. Our restoration windows with their fiber core frames are 8 times stronger than hollow core vinyl and twice as strong as any composite frame. The exterior can be finished to match any color Sherwin-Williams offers, and we have 27% more glass area, so you don't lose near the visibility you do with other window brands. We also offer 100% financing to fit almost any budget. If you call now for your free estimate, I'm offering a 20% discount on your complete window and door project. Of course, your price is good for 30 days, so you have time to think it over or shop around. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095, or visit us online at statewideremodeling.com.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if you want to whiten your teeth 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free by calling 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got an idea. How about making this the summer of you doing better in the stock market? How does that happen? First step is you show up at the New Venture on Wall Street seminars. They're June 19th and 20th in Addison and Fort Worth. Both locations taken care of, and they'll take care of you at nvows.com. nvows.com. New Venture on Wall Street. Pastor David Mitchell's operation, where he imparts wisdom, strategies, some simple things you can do. They taught me how to get in there and just do some things and not others. Timing is everything. When to buy, when to sell, what to do, what not to do. Get a second income stream, maybe retire earlier. It is fantastic wisdom. The seminars are great. They're fun. They're upbeat. And they're coming up June 19th and 20th in Addison and in Fort Worth. Following weekend in Tyler. To get all the information you need, go to 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. nvows.com. New Venture on Wall Street. Do better in the stock market this summer and for the rest of your life. nvows.com. 877-907-TRADE.
Lads, clearing out weeds is all about give and take. Hello, this is Scott for Scots. And what I mean is, you want to take the pesky weeds out, but to keep them out, you need to give your grass something in return, which is exactly what Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed does. It kills weeds while it feeds in thickened your grass to help crowd out future invasions. To learn more about Scott's Turf Builder Weed and Feed, go to scotts.com. Weed your lawn and feed it.
If you've got questions, we've got answers. 660 AM. The Answer. The truth.
You doing okay?
Truth. And nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, there's some kids in Haiti that would very much like you to hear a message we have at the top of the hour, say about 8:55. Don't forget to join us then and listen to what we have to say. It'd be great, huh? It will help your heart, I swear. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Today, there is more information about this Fast Track Trade Authority, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and so on and so on. What this does is this lays the groundwork for what is, for all intents and purposes, a treaty. Nobody that you know personally has been able to read this trade deal. We do know on background that there are a lot of Republican leaders that are briefed in on this and know and have read the actual article. So regardless of what you may read in whatever newspaper, we know through reliable sources on Capitol Hill that indeed Republican leadership has read this trade agreement. They are moving forward with trying to gather the votes, and that's a real tough sell, as well it should be. It's such a tough sell. The Hill reports today that a bipartisan group of lawmakers is calling for a change to House rules to require the administration to make all trade deals publicly available for 60 days before they could be approved using fast track authority. The point of fast track authority is to avoid things like 60-day holds on legislation. So 60 days, I think, is probably dead on arrival. However, the resolution titled "The Trade Review Accountability Needs Sunlight and Preview of Any Regulations and Exact Negotiated Components." Okay. What does that spell out? Transparenkin. It doesn't spell anything, so it's just a gigantic, unwieldy title that means nothing. It was introduced by Representative Mary Kaptur, the Democrat from Ohio. In her statement, Kaptur criticized fast track, known as Trade Promotion Authority, which would grant President Obama the power to send trade deals to Congress for up or down votes. Congress could also not amend trade deals submitted under fast track. Now, that may not necessarily seem real good, except the reason that they just have up-down votes is because you can't negotiate a bill if you're President Obama. You can't negotiate some kind of a trade deal, then submit it to Congress, and then have them amend it and pass it. Because then you have to take it back to the negotiating table and go through the changes. So what ends up happening is it's an up or down vote. Now, it isn't one of these things that we have to worry about whether or not there's going to be some kind of compromise that should be appropriate in any given trade deal or what have you. That's not really the point, because there is an opportunity for the Congress to say no. No. Now, there's a lot of politics going on, and if you know me, if you know this radio broadcast, you also know that I am no longer a Republican. I am a conservative independent. Actually a constitutional conservative, but the party that calls itself constitutional conservatives is totally out to lunch. So basically I'm a conservative. I'm a Tea Party guy. I'm an America First guy. I'm a Constitution First guy. Okay? Now I realize there's some room between where we are and where the Constitution stops when it comes to the federal government. I do realize that. There is some room to operate. But right now, the Congress of the United States, the federal government, they couldn't care less about the Constitution of the United States. And, oh, by the way, they're abusing it. People ask me, well, you bring this up, as a part of your conversations regarding the Patriot Act a lot of times. I go, yeah, I do. Well, Bush passed the Patriot Act, and I go, yeah, and I had big problems with it then. It's one thing to be able to pass a law that circumvents the Constitution. As long as it's not being abused, then there is no gripe. President Obama has abused the Patriot Act. That's not just coming from me. That's coming from the Supreme Court, Circuits Court of Appeals, so on and so forth, Circuit Courts of Appeal, and so on and so on. Okay? This is not a partisan screed here. What I'm trying to explain to you is how all this stuff works. So this trade promotion authority that the president wants has to come with certain limitations that the Congress can affect. The Congress still has a way to say no, and they still need to be able to say no. And from what I understand, this is something that's in place. The thing that I really have a problem with, and one last thing, I'm sorry, I'm skipping around a little bit, but one last thing, what you also have to keep in mind is that you don't want a lot of this talked about in public just because. Because when you're talking about a trade deal, as soon as it sees the light of day, people start making business plans because of it. And that can add an unnecessary and destructive component of manipulation to the entire deal. You see what I mean? So a lot of this makes sense A lot of it doesn't. Okay, Jon-David. So it sounds like you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. On one hand, you understand what the president's doing. On the other hand, you're understand why the Republicans are kind of going along with part of this, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. And my overarching opinion is that I don't think President Obama gets to have fast track on anything because I don't think he's worthy of it. I don't think he has our trust, which is why this bill that would require trade deals to be publicly available before a fast track vote was introduced in Congress today. It's why you read this headline coming out of NBC News. Survey: Obama's trade proposal a tough sell for most Americans. It's not because we don't want trans-Pacific trade. It's that we do not trust what the president will give away in order to be a part of trans-Pacific trade. We don't trust President Obama. And I'm making this very plain for a very important reason. The president has blown his trust and his credibility with the American people. When people say, okay, we've got to see what the president has to say. We have to look over his shoulder when it comes to the Iran deal. When we have to do all these things, it's because, not because we necessarily may have issues with whatever deal he's working on, although I think the Iran deal is a cataclysmic error. What it is we don't trust this guy. We do not trust this man. And we shouldn't trust this man. He's looked at us right in the face and lied to us time after time after time after time. And this kind of puts us in a tough spot. Because what you hear Paul Ryan of Wisconsin say when he says, hey, you know, these rules are going to be written with or without us. I'd kind of like them to be written with us. Well, okay. Give us another president and we'll go right along with it, I'm sure. Just like we the people of the United States trusted President Bush when he passed the Patriot Act. When President Obama got a hold of the Patriot Act, it turned into a gigantic political wonderland of all kinds of capability that no other president had, and he abused every single one of them. And so this is where we find ourselves. And this is where we find ourselves in a situation where now what we do is we hear from Steve Scalise, who is the House Majority Whip, and he is trying as hard as he possibly can to talk as fast as he can, to sell this deal as fast as he can, and nobody's buying it. He says this, quote, TPA, Trade Promotion Authority, makes the president follow dozens of strict objectives in his negotiations so that your priorities come first, not his. And then he goes on to say this. The Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, the negotiations have been going on for 6 years. According to the U.S. trade representatives, they are in the end game and will be wrapped up once TPA is approved. Scalise said, Scalise and company are a little late selling objectives for the negotiations that have already taken place. More importantly, if you look at the language of the TPA bill, you see the claim that TPA, Trade Promotion Authority, makes the president follow dozens of strict objectives. And you'll also see that statement is transparently false. This, by the way, according to Greg Nash of The Hill. Section 103B2 of the Trade Act of 2015 says a trade agreement will be considered under the expedited rules of Trade Promotion Authority, quote, if such agreement makes progress in meeting the applicable objectives described. Notice it doesn't say the agreement must meet the objectives or even that it must meet 99% of the objectives. No, if it makes progress in meeting the objectives, that's good enough. Talk about the soft bigotry of low expectations. I think that was unnecessary. Unnecessary slap. And who decides if President Obama makes progress? The same folks desperate to get the deal through Congress in the first place, even if a member were to suggest the president does not make progress in obeying the wishes of Congress. The complaint would be referred to the Ways and Means Committee. Chairman Paul Ryan and his pro-TPA stalwarts would be under no obligation to bring the complaint up for a vote and send it to the full House. The move to cancel fast track stands about as much chance as civil rights legislation in a Dixiecrat-run committee in the 1940s. So, to bring you up to date, the food fight is still going on with Trade Promotion Authority and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. The President of the United States has blown his credibility and his trust with the American people. The Republican Party is trying to go on with business as usual, and in my way of thinking, apparently supports Trade Promotion Authority for the president to be able to make this deal. It all comes down to making a deal we know nothing about. And as we do not trust President Obama, and as the ratings, the approval ratings for the Congress are at historic lows and have been for a long flippin' time, we're being asked to allow a pig and a poke to become a part of the American experience. And there are a lot of things in this, apparently, that we hear dribs and drabs about. Maybe they're just rumors, but we don't know because we don't get to see the bill until it gets passed. Again. And this time, it's bipartisan. So the president makes it impossible for people to read the trade promotion bill, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, without going into a closed room, and they can't keep notes and so on and so forth. So we know that. But we're being asked to accept a pig and a poke from a president we don't trust, from a Congress that we have limited appreciation for. And people wonder why we believe that Congress and Washington is broken. In point of fact, I would like to see an economy again where people get raises. When was the last time you got a raise? In point of fact, I'd like to see a trade agreement that benefits the United States and we the people of the United States, not fat cats who have lots and lots of money for lots and lots of lobbyists, for lots and lots of politicians in Washington, D.C. And I am reasonably sure that we're not getting any of this. All we're doing is we're watching this wonderful game of politics being practiced by Democrats and Republicans and presidents and senators and representatives and so on, and everybody's saying this is what's going on and this isn't what's going on, and we have to take them all at their word. Really? That's where we find Trade Promotion Authority and the Trans-Pacific Partnership today. When there is more news about that, we will tell you about it here on 660 AM The Answer. You're listening to the Wells Report. Coming up in just a couple of seconds, some details on how you can help some kids that could really, really use your help. Stick around. More details in a moment. This is the Wells Report.
Howdy folks, Crazy Gun Dealer here, and I want you to know that nobody wants your gun business more than I do. To prove it, this week I have Taurus 709 Slim Pistols. Normal dealer wholesale was $286. Right now I've got them for you for only $199. That's right, $199. Plus, I'll still give you free CHO classes, a free lifetime warranty, and a free range membership. Folks, this is in-store only, and while they last, so get here quick. That's the Crazy Gun Dealer in Alvarado, just 30 minutes south of Dallas or 20 minutes south of Fort Worth. Keep up with our crazy offers. Visit us at crazygundealer.com, crazygundealer.com, or give us a call at 855-329-GUNS. And finally, folks, I want you to remember, if I don't already have the best gun deal anywhere, I'll beat any price, anywhere, gun to gun, anytime, because nobody wants your business more than I do.
I had the home of my dreams, but one day I noticed cracks in the wall by the front door as well as the kitchen window. A neighbor recommended Abacus Foundation Repair. He said they're the best foundation repair company in Dallas, and they use an advanced system on your foundation called Millennium Composite Pilings that'll last 1,000 years. Well, I went to their website, abacusfoundationrepair.com, and saw that they have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and the world's leading service company review website recommended them highly. And the best part? They haven't had a complaint in the last 13 years. So I called them, and I'm happy I did. Abacus Foundation Repair guaranteed their work, and they gave me a lifetime transferable warranty.
If you see cracks in the walls of your home or your doors don't shut properly, call Abacus Foundation Repair at 972-406-9000. That's 972-406-9000. Or go to abacusfoundationrepair.com. If you want your foundation fixed right the first time, call Abacus Foundation Repair.
In national financial news, a limited number of 2015 U.S. Silver Eagle dollars are now available at an introductory price too low to reveal on the radio. In a moment, we'll provide the toll-free number to call. The Silver Eagle is the largest and purest U.S. silver dollar ever struck. 1 ounce of pure silver, and is the only silver coin guaranteed by the U.S. government for its weight and purity. Over the years, the Silver Eagle has been one of the world's most popular and widely collected silver coins. From time to time, the U.S. Mint has even suspended production during periods of exceptionally high demand. Demand for the 2015 Silver Eagle is expected to be intense, especially at this shockingly low introductory price, forcing a strict limit of just 10 per household. To claim a share of these Silver Eagles and receive a free collector's guide, interested individuals are encouraged to call now. 1-800-500-6706. 1-800-500-6706. 1-800-500-6706.
In the early 60s, Dolores and Ray Butcher and their 3 daughters earned a trip to Disneyland by collecting S&H green stamps. It was a dream come true. Today, nearly everyone has a wallet or keychain full of loyalty reward cards that they use for discounts, gifts, and even free dinners at their favorite restaurants. For years, an international company has been offering a universal loyalty rewards card in Europe. We call it the Blue Card, one card to replace dozens. The Blue Card offers discounts up to 5% cash back. It even accumulates points to shop at participating merchants and an online mall. Today, they're looking for independent representatives to launch this card in the U.S. and Canada. It is free to get the card and free to become a representative. You could help launch the Blue Card in your area and get paid wherever it is used. Imagine you could be paid every time someone fills their gas tank, buys groceries, orders an airline ticket, or purchases just about anything.
To get your free Blue Card, go to bluecardshopping.com. That's bluecardshopping.com. bluecardshopping.com.
Hey, when choosing a financial advisor, outstanding reputation, decades of experience, and a successful track record are very important. The good news is I have someone I would like for you to meet. Hey, Sean Hannity here for my friend Bob Guess at Texas First Financial. Now, Bob Guess is an author, a speaker, an educator who has taught at SMU and other prestigious campuses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, with his experience and the help of his team, Bob's clients earn a 9% return on their investments. That's a 9% return backed 100% by hard assets and no market volatility. Now it's time you placed your investments with one of Texas Monthly's top advisors. Now I know attractive, predictable, stable returns on your investments are important to you. Call Bob and his team today at 972-570-4444. That's 972-570-4444. For 9% returns and no market risk. Now make sure you check them out yourself. Tell them Sean Hannity sent you.
Need more fodder while arguing with your liberal friends? We've got you covered. 660 AM, The Answer. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
How are you doing? My name is Jon-David Wells. I want to talk to you for a couple of minutes about Cure International. Cure International is a great organization that works on a particular deformity of young kids. It's called clubfoot. It's a congenital deformity that severely twists the foot downward and inward, making walking difficult or impossible. It's completely curable. The folks at Cure International want to help the children of Haiti that suffer from this deformity, and they'd like your help. 1 out of every 750 children born in Haiti suffers from clubfoot. How can you help? A $400 donation will completely fund the total cost of treatment for one infant. That allows them to have straight feet by the time they're ready to learn how to walk. You can find out more by going to 660amtheanswer.com to donate, or you can call 855-216-0400. But if you donate $2,800 to Cure International, you can qualify for the business benefactor. That's right. We'll give you an advertising campaign on 660 AM The Answer absolutely free. If you'd like, I will voice that campaign for you. All you got to do is call my dear friend Mike Krejci at 214-561-2164. That's 214-561-2164 to get started with your advertising campaign. $2,800 saves 7 kids from Clubfoot. And this is the final week. Why do I have a personal stake in this? I'll tell you next time we talk about Cure International on the Wells Report here on 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Good Feet. I've been proud for years to send you to the Good Feet locations in Plano and in Fort Worth. And now I'm really glad to tell you about the third Good Feet location, South Lake, Texas, right there at 2615 East South Lake Boulevard, a couple of blocks east of Town Square on South Lake Boulevard between Kimball and Nolan. Know what happens in there? The same great results you've always gotten in Plano and in Fort Worth. Real people taking care of real foot problems. Foot pain can spread. It can become leg pain, hip pain, back pain. Let's get you out of pain. At goodfeetdfw.com, learn about all the locations, brand new in South Lake. Plano, still on the corner of Coit and the Bush Turnpike in front of Central Market. Fort Worth, 1 block south of I-20 on Bryant Irvin. And brand new Good Feet in South Lake, 2615 East South Lake Boulevard, 2 blocks east of Town Square. It's Good Feet, getting people out of pain today. America's #1 arch support. Check them out at goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com, Plano, Fort Worth, and South Lake.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Today, let's talk about the $29 service call gimmick. Here in North Texas, an experienced service tech costs at least $35 an hour to employ. So how does a $29 service call work? Well, it doesn't unless they find a bunch of stuff wrong with your system. It's just bait to get you to call. We can't come out for $29, and really, neither can they. In this business, you get what you pay for. Reliant Air Conditioning service call is $79, and our guys are all drug tested, background checked, and they don't work on commission. So if you need service on your AC system, call the company that's been gimmick-free since '83. Or if your system needs to be replaced, you can save up to $3,500 per system with Carrier's Cool Cash promotion. Our number is 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lisa Lacera. The small upstate New York town of Willsboro, where state troopers are focusing as they search for 2 men who staged a brazen prison break. Wayne Schimpf is escapee Richard Matt's half-brother.
He's actually 2 different people. If you met him in a normal setting, he would charm the pants off you, and you would just think he was a great guy. And then when he wants to do something like what he did, there's a switch, and there's just something in his eye. He's the only man I've ever been afraid of. He gets this pure evil look on him.
Matt and 34-year-old David Sweat were discovered missing over the weekend. A former House Speaker in court to answer federal charges.
Dennis Hastert's lawyers entering the not guilty plea here in Chicago to charges his client evaded federal banking laws and lied to the FBI in a case that also alleges that Hastert agreed to pay someone the hush money.
Fox Radio's Jeff Bonasso. Fox News. We report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy, here with the Big Boat and Outdoor Show. It's boating time, folks, so don't forget to tune in to the only boating talk show on 660 AM The Answer every Saturday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by BoatSelect.com, the site with thousands of boats for sale, or list your boat for free on BoatSelect.com. I know you have questions about your boat or one you're buying. Email those questions to me at BigBoatShow@yahoo.com.
For almost 2 decades,
needs. Financial advisor and educator Rick Poston with Empowered Wealth Financial Services has provided peace of mind to thousands who see or hear him in the media or read his work. Rick has been chosen by Bloomberg Business Week magazine as one of the top 20 game-changing financial advisors in the country. A fan of Rick's profound teaching, Brian Tracy, world-renowned business leader, speaker, and best-selling author, has asked Rick to co-author his newest book entitled The Winning Way, where Rick will share with his fans some of the principles that allow Rick's clients to continue on their winning way. If you are looking to break away from that same old investment plan that has provided you with one too many disappointments, stay tuned to 660 AM The Answer every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for the most educational hour on financial talk radio with Empowered Wealth Radio, live, or call 469-361-4020.
This is David Davenport of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. June is busting out all over, the song says, and it will soon bust out at the U.S. Supreme Court. June is the month when many of the court's decisions and cases heard over the last 9 months will be announced. Obamacare has been in court since the day it was signed into law, which happens when a massive overhaul to a major system has very little debate or attention to detail. Drafters recently claimed that the issue in court now was a mistake, but it's not the Supreme Court's job to fix congressional mistakes. So the court should decide that Obamacare subsidies are not valid in states that do not have their own exchanges, as the law states, and send it back to Congress and the states. Same-sex marriage is being addressed just fine in the states and lower courts. There's really no need for a major Supreme Court declaration about it, and a conservative court should say so. Either way, decision time is here. I'm David Davenport.
This townhall.com commentary is brought to you by the Salem Radio Network.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-507-2955. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-507-2955. That's 1-800-507-2955. 1-800-507-2955.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, owner of Statewide Remodeling. You know, we've been getting some relief from what is usually the beginning of summer here in Texas. And right behind that, the temperature goes up, and so do your cooling bills. We manufacture our windows to beat the Texas heat. Our fiber core reinforced frames are 9 times stronger than other windows, and our glass has 27% more viewing area. We give you better than triple pane performance at a double pane price. Another thing that separates our window from all competitors is we can match our exterior frame to any color Sherwin-Williams offers. So no plain white windows here or 3 or 4 colors to choose from. And of course, we offer the longest warranty in the industry. It even covers glass breakage and workmanship for as long as you own your home. So if you're ready to see the window that sets the standard in Texas, give us a call. And if you decide it's the one for you, receive 20% off the complete job. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. Or check us out online 24/7 at statewideremodeling.com.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio. 660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Telephone number is 866-660-5759. You can find us on YouTube Live Events. I am broadcasting live, and I am resplendent in my maroon shirt. And you can see me with the longest hair I've had in probably 2 years. I wasn't able to get my hair cut in my normal 2-week interval. I look like a dang hippie. But anyway, I know. 866-660-5759. Go to YouTube Live Events, and you can see us in this studio. And I've got proof because here is my 660 AM The Answer sign. All right. So Franklin Graham is calling on Christians to boycott corporations that feature same-sex relationships in their commercials. And he says he'll do this on his own by moving all the bank accounts for his 2 ministries out of Wells Fargo because of its ad featuring a lesbian couple. Quote, "This is one way we as Christians can speak out. We have the power of choice. Let's just stop doing business with those who promote sin and stand against Almighty God's laws and his standards. Maybe if enough of us do this, it will get their intentions, or it will get their attention." A spokesman for Wells Fargo Bank said the bank has proudly supported the LGBT community for a long time. Quote, "At Wells Fargo, serving every customer is core to our vision and our values." This according to Christina Kolbjornsen. Quote, "Diversity and inclusion are foundational to who we are as a company. Our advertising content reflects our company's values and represents the diversity of our communities we share and serve," unquote. Wells Fargo is based in San Francisco. It has its largest employee base, however, in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, along the stomping grounds of Billy Graham and the Graham family, including Franklin. Franklin Graham is the CEO of both the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association in Charlotte and the Samaritan's Purse in Boone. He said he was not targeting companies that hire or serve gay and lesbian customers. There's lots of businesses out there that do business with gay people. That's fine. He wants Christians to stop giving their money to businesses such as Wells Fargo and Tiffany Jewelers that use shareholders' advertising dollars to promote homosexuality. He says it's promoting a godless lifestyle. A bank should be promoting the best interest rates they're going to give me and what they can do for me as a business, but they should not be trying to get into a moral debate and take sides. So, this is something that I wanted to talk about for a while. It has to do with the way the LGBT community deals with us, the non-LGBT community, when it comes to differences of opinion. Okay? I want you to listen to what the North Texas LGBT community responded to Graham with. Listen to this. "Everyone is entitled to vote with their pocketbook. I do. But smart money supports cities like Fort Worth and companies we attract today that value and embrace people rather than demean and displace them." This is David McHenderson, who is the president of Fairness Fort Worth, an LGBT advocacy organization. Henderson, whose organization's Facebook page has support from about 1,000 people, said the boycott is a desperate attempt by some people to not practice what they preach. He said most Christians believe in embracing others instead of being intolerant. Tony Vetta, CEO and president of the North Texas GLBT, it must be LGBT and it's a typo, the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, said that businesses that reach out to gays and lesbians are saying, we support everybody. Vetta said that inclusiveness is good for all businesses. He says that in Wells Fargo's commercial that has a lesbian couple adopting a handicapped child, that the commercial reflects real families in society. It's promoting adoption. It's promoting love. There are same-sex couples out there who want to be good parents and adopt children. Okay. Well, it's also a very, very politically charged topic. And when you're Wells Fargo Bank, while you are promoting love and while you're promoting adoption, you're also promoting homosexuality. Franklin Graham says that Christians shouldn't support such businesses because homosexuality in the Christian faith is wrong. It's also wrong in the Muslim faith. It's really interesting that when people criticize Christians vehemently for being so intolerant about not wanting to do business under circumstances that are being forced upon them through the LGBT community, they completely ignore the fact that half a world away, gays and lesbians are being thrown off buildings because of their sexuality. They completely ignore that. Is that wrong? Absolutely, it's wrong. But Franklin Graham standing up and saying we as Christians should not support this is an exact replication of what the LGBT community does on a regular basis with anyone who disagrees. Did you notice in this response the very straightforward and measured, very logical, very well-stated difference of opinion that LGBT in North Texas has with Franklin Graham? Did you notice that? Really beautifully said. Whether you agree with it or not, it's really beautifully said. So what if Franklin Graham was, say, for example, the president of First Graham National Bank? And what if he had a commercial on that extolled the virtues of Christian couples adopting kids and had a commercial that actually portrayed a Christian couple being allowed to adopt a child in preference to an LGBT couple that happened to be in the same commercial? What kind of language do you think would be in this article from the LGBT community? It would be decorated with venom, vitriol, bigotry and racism, and so on and so forth that would be applied to Franklin Graham. It would be so harsh, so vitriolic, it would be hard to read. Indeed, it would also be followed by a call to boycott the Graham National Bank by every LGBT community member and everybody who supports the LGBT community. And that is what happens on a near daily basis. And so Franklin Graham takes a page out of that playbook and sends it back to the LGBT community. And the LGBT community responds with, well, that's just ridiculous and stupid. But they do so gently. Why? Why are they so vehement and vitriolic, venomous when someone disagrees with them in public? And immediately, this person must lose their job. This person must close their business. This person must be shamed forever. And we should boycott their business. Why is it that when somebody else does that very same thing, they retreat to, hey, I mean, it's just about love, okay? It's just inclusiveness and fairness. I'll tell you why. Because the LGBT community could not withstand a Christian boycott of anything. Christians are loving people. We have always been loving people. But I will be perfectly honest with you, I am tired of the near endless promotion of the LGBT agenda over and over and over and over and over. You know, there was one time when I tried to read a newspaper every day. I read the newspaper every day and tried to get through one day without some kind of LGBT reference. After 90 straight days, I quit trying. And the willingness to demean someone who believes differently is right at the top of the list of the LGBT playbook. We are demeaned mentally. We are called hypocrites. And it happened right here in this very same article, by the way, called hypocrites. And I noticed that they only pick fights with Christians. They don't seem to have any trouble, completely being silent about this with Muslims. And so, where does this all come down? Here's what I think. What I think is that, yes, the LGBT community constantly promotes itself, its agenda, and everything there is about it. They constantly trespass in areas that they have no business trespassing in when it comes to Christianity. And then they barbecue anybody that points out and says, hey, that's not your turf. Why are you trying to trespass on that turf? Why are you trespassing into marriage? Why are you trespassing into adoption? Why? I'll explain those things next. You're listening to the Wells Report.
The Good Contractors List is a free service designed to protect you. We meet all of our home service contractors face to face and feel so confident in our final choices that we back their work with a $10,000 guarantee. We go the extra mile in our interview process to make sure that the contractor is not only honest in quality, but able to offer the most affordable and fair rates. For instance, how do you pick who you call for air conditioning? Did you know that the air conditioning industry is commonly known for misdiagnosis and unneeded upselling? The higher their overhead, the more money they need to stay in business. So they flash tempting offers to get their foot in the door, and the sales game is on. The air conditioning companies we choose are simply stable and proven companies that offer the highest quality at fair and honest rates. And to protect you, they've all agreed to do an absolutely free second opinion if you're being told that you have to replace your air conditioning unit. If you need AC or any other type of home service, visit thegoodcontractorslist.com first.
Contractors List.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-952-3467. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to use the bathroom, speed up bathroom trips, reduce waking at night to go, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-952-3467. That's 1-800-952-3467. Call 1-800-952-3467.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis. Got an idea. How about if we make this the summer of you doing better on Wall Street? How do we do that? We get you into the upcoming seminars for New Venture on Wall Street, NVOWS.com. We have an Addison location and a Fort Worth location for the seminar weekend, the 19th and 20th of June. Weekend after that in Tyler. Learn more at NVOWS.com or a phone number I'll give you here in a second. It's a 2-day event. It's live. It's not a webinar. It's real people. It's great. It's upbeat. It's fun. And you'll leave this course confident in your ability to trade stocks better with more wisdom. And New Venture is going to coach you along the way. It's not just seminar and then, see ya, have a nice life. Nope, they're going to stay with you, helping you along the way to make sure that you have kept in your head the stuff they've taught you. It'll enable you to retire earlier, get a second income stream, things we all want to do. So let me get you into these seminars at 877-907-TRADE, 877-907-TRADE, Addison and Fort Worth, 19th and 20th of June, Tyler the weekend after, 877-907-TRADE.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now. 1-800-500-0983. That's 1-800-500-0983. 1-800-500-0983.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got a question for you. Why is your cell phone bill helping Hillary to become president of the United States? Why did your mobile phone bill go to Obama for 2 elections? If you weren't aware this happened, well, let me confirm it for you and offer you a better way. Big Mobile, the companies you're probably paying for your cell phone service, they contribute all across the political spectrum, some over here, some over there. If it's the over there part that's troubling, I can fix that. Let me hook you up with EOS Mobile, EOS. The website is eoscell.com, EOSCELL.com, and it's a local company. But wait, you're going to save 10 to 15%, and the network service is going to be the same, and you're going to have a fantastic phone selection, same phones, same service, better price, and conservative causes. Let's make the switch today. But Mark, you may say, I'm already tied up in my existing plan. Well, they will buy you out of your current contract. EOScell.com. Check them out. EOS, EOSCELL.com, and they're local too. EOScell, EOSCELL.com.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. We are discussing Franklin Graham saying that Christians should move away from banks like Wells Fargo and businesses that promote homosexuality in America. Those of us who are not in the community, the LGBT community, are most of the people that I talk with are tired of having this agenda being rammed down their throats every 5 minutes, and it really drives us all crazy. Okay? And I realize that there may be people that disagree. There may be people that are not part of the LGBT community that find this wonderfully entertaining and life-affirming and diverse and all this stuff. Except I just find it tiresome. And it's not because the LGBT community offends my Christianity as it does with Franklin Graham. In point of fact, homosexuality is not part of the Christian experience. That's the way it is. Okay? And that's to infer or to try to infiltrate or usurp that is trespassing. And that's what the LGBT community does on a regular basis. What drives me crazy about the agenda is that I believe that what happens between consenting adults in private is none of my business. Not only is it none of my business, it's not my kids' business. It's not my wife's business. It has nothing to do with us. And I'm tired of dealing with it on a continual basis. It's like listening to an obnoxious teenager talk about his Yu-Gi-Oh card collection. And every time you say, "Can you please stop talking about that?" the kid looks at you with fire in his eyes and calls you a bigot and then keeps talking about his Yu-Gi-Oh collection. On and on and on. Okay, I get it. You have a different sexuality. That's fine. Can we talk about something else? Anything else? And then, in the ultimate hypocrisy, you demand that your agenda be constantly foisted on others without their permission, without their consent, and whenever they object, well, they're just intolerant bastards. They're homophobes. No, we're not homophobes. We don't care about your sexuality. How about if you just shut up when it comes to that topic? There you go. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, to criticize someone for calling for a boycott based on your actions, as opposed to you calling for a boycott based on someone else's actions, I think is laughable. It's the way you do business. Did you think that people weren't going to notice that it was A, effective, and B, try it themselves? What happens when we throw your arguments back at you and we just mirror everything that you do? I've lived on this planet a long time. I know there are people that do different things than I do. You know what I think? Live and let live. If you're having a good time, go have a good time. But stop trespassing on that is not yours. Do not trespass on things that are not yours. Don't do it. And then castigate me for pointing out that you're trespassing. Now, let's get on with living with each other and call it a day. What do you say? This is the Wells Report.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey folks, Mike Krejci here, sales manager of 660 a.m. The Answer. If you are a business owner, I want to talk specifically to you. If you were listening to our station over the last few days, you'll know that we've been supporting one of our favorite charities, Cure International, by offering our Business Benefactor Program. We've had some terrific businesses step up to support the cause, but we need a few more to join in. We are trying to heal kids in Haiti who were born with a condition known as clubfoot. Your gift will help heal a child so they can run, dance, and play and have a chance at a normal life. 100% of this gift goes to help these children. Here's how the Business Benefactor Program works. Your business donates $2,800 to Cure International, and in exchange, you'll get an advertising campaign to run on 660 AM The Answer during the next 90 days, absolutely free. So you'll be helping your business and these kids all at the same time. Call me today to get started. My number is 214-561-9103. That's 214-561-9103. 9103. One more time, 214-561-9103. Thank you.
If you're turning on the AC for the warm days of spring and it's just not working or not cooling the way it should, time to call Walker Air Conditioning. Hey, Mark Davis. My friends at Walker are a family business, but big enough to cover North Texas with reliable, honorable service for your AC units. No commission salesmen showing up. They're technicians sent to fix your problem at an affordable price. Oh, if it's time for a new unit, they've got all the best brands at all the best prices. But let Walker AC see what you need first with techs who know what they're doing from a company you can trust. 52 years in the business, stellar customer reviews, A+ from the Better Business Bureau, specialists in AC and refrigeration for homes and business. Got a wine cellar, a wine fridge? They'll fix yours or install a new one. Walker AC, making sure you are cool and comfortable. Walker Air Conditioning. Website is walkerac.com. That's walkerac.com. Phone number is 972-4-WALKER. 972-4-WALKER. walkerac.com.
Hey, when choosing a financial advisor, outstanding reputation, decades of experience, and a successful track record are very important. The good news is I have someone I would like for you to meet. Hey, Sean Hannity here for my friend Bob Guess at Texas First Financial. Now, Bob Guess is an author, a speaker, an educator who has taught at SMU and other prestigious campuses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, with his experience and the help of his team, Bob's clients earn a 9% return on their investments. That's a 9% return backed 100% by hard assets and no market volatility. Now, it's time you placed your investments with one of Texas Monthly's top advisors. Now, I know attractive, predictable, stable returns on your investments are important to you. Call Bob and his team today at 972-570-4444. That's 972-570-4444 for 9% returns and no market risk. Now make sure you check him out yourself. Tell him Sean Hannity sent you.
This plan is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation and refund period. Administrator and benefits limited, Dallas, Texas, not available in all states.
Are your medical expenses and insurance costs out of control? There's a way to pay less for the healthcare you need. RealMedSavings.com. It's a membership like a club that lets you access huge networks of medical professionals for a whole lot less money. Real Med Savings even connects you with a board-certified physician anytime, 24 hours a day. The doctor will consult with you, diagnose the condition, and when necessary, call in the prescription. You pay nothing for the doctor's consultation because you're a member. You save money because we've already negotiated discounts on dental, vision, prescription drugs, and much more. Just go to RealMedSavings.com and learn all about it. Real Med Savings is not insurance. You just save real money on your health care for you and your whole family. And it costs less than $1 a day for the whole family. No salesperson will call, and there is no long-term commitment. Convenient money-saving health care. RealMedSavings.com.
Our sister station, 94.9 KLTY and Interstate Batteries present Celebrate Freedom 25, Saturday, June 27th at South Fork Ranch. Since this is our 25th anniversary of the largest outdoor Christian concert in America, we're bringing in the artists that you love. Stephen Curtis Chapman, Toby Mac, Third Day, Carrie Job, and many, many more. You've made so many memories over the years at Celebrate Freedom. This year, make some more with us. Sponsored by Cornerstone Staffing, Care Now, North Texas Chevy Dealers, and American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Learn a little something at the start of your day.
Dude,
The
you're
Mark
international
Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report. A daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. What I want you to do is listen, because coming up in just a couple of seconds, we've got some people that could use your help in Haiti, and we'll tell you how you can reach out to them in just a moment. Okay? All right, so stick around. That's coming up before you can say unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine. 866-660-5759. We want to thank Arthur Thigpen. Arthur is one of my State Guard brethren. Arthur, I appreciate this. You gave me a heads up on an article that I read. I think it was this Vicky day before yesterday? This came out of the Washington Examiner, specifically Paul Bedard. Commonly used in unregulated internet discussions and videos about guns and ammo could be closed down under rules proposed by the State Department, amounting to a gag order on firearms-related speech. This according to the National Rifle Association. In updating regulations governing international arms sales, state is demanding that anyone who puts technical details about arms and ammo on the web first get the okay from the federal government or face a fine of up to $1 million and 20 years in jail. According to the NRA, that would include blogs and web forums discussing technical details of common guns and ammunition, the type of info gun owners and ammo reloaders trade all the time. Gunsmiths, manufacturers, reloaders, and do-it-yourselfers could all find themselves muzzled under the rule and unable to distribute or obtain the information they rely on to conduct these activities, said the NRA in a blog. This latest regulatory assault, published in the June 3rd issue of the Federal Register, is as much an affront to the First Amendment as it is to the Second, warned the NRA's lobbying shop. Your action is urgently needed to ensure that online blogs, videos, and web forums devoted to technical aspects of firearms and ammunition do not become subject to prior review by State Department bureaucrats before they can be published. First of all, the reason, by the way, Mr. Thigpen, the reason that I didn't report this earlier is because this proposed rule or these proposed rules are going nowhere. They wouldn't make it out of a federal court anywhere. They wouldn't make it out of a federal court in the most liberal district in the United States of America. This is poppycocky and foolishness on the part of whoever put this forward, which is why basically I ignored it. You know, a lot of people are talking about, say, well, you know, the United States is giving up control of the internet. Well, yeah, except that that the interesting thing about that is that as soon as the internet becomes un-American or American unfriendly, Americans will find something else. See, we're not stuck with the internet. The internet just happens to exist in its present form because nobody's bothered to compete with it. As soon as you go on the internet and you get lousy service, someone will rush into the circumstance. Someone will rush into the opportunity, rush in with an opportunity to do something different. Okay? You might have to type in different things in your computer. But before you can say, wow, that was no big deal, before you can say that, there will be something equal or better, probably better. And just like this, I want to see somebody come from the federal government and arrest me for talking about a trigger group that I really like from Wilson Combat on my AR-15 and try me for talking about it and trying to fine me $1 million and throw me in jail for 20 years. I want to see that happen. That's what I want to see. I want to see him try it. At issue is the internet, the state updating international traffic in arms regulations, which implement the Federal Arms Export Control Act. The rules govern everything from guns to strategic bombers. The NRA said the rules predate the internet. Now the federal government wants to regulate technical arms discussions on the internationally available web, which is crap, and they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be able to do it. State's proposal is highly technical. It took 14 pages in the Federal Register to explain. You know why? Because they were trying to explain their way around the Constitution of the United States and can't do it. Here's what the NRA boiled all that garbage down to. In their current form, the international traffic in arms regulations do not, as a rule, regulate technical data that are in what the regulations call public domain. Essentially, this means data which is published and which is generally accessible or available to the public through a variety of specified means. They include at libraries open to the public from which the public can obtain documents. Many have read this provision to include material that is posted on publicly available websites, since most public libraries in these days make internet access available to their patrons, right up to the point where a 14-year-old can access all the porn he wishes. and they vehemently demand that they be able to share the porn with the kids. Freedom of speech. You got to be able to share the porn with the kids. But no guns. Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. The ITAR, however, was originally promulgated in the days before the internet. Some State Department officials now insist that everything published online in a generally accessible location has essentially been exported, as it would be accessible to foreign nationals in both the U.S. and overseas. With the new proposal published on June 3rd, State Department claims to be clarifying the rules concerning technical data posted online or otherwise released into the public domain. To the contrary, the proposal would institute a massive new prior restraint on free speech. It is because all such releases would require the authorization of the government before they occurred, which is why this is going absolutely nowhere. Nowhere is this going. Zero. The people that propose these things are traitors to the United States. They are in violation of their oaths of office and employment if they are indeed working for the United States. Every time you see something like this, a very tastefully and professionally worded letter accusing the persons involved with treason should immediately leave your mailbox. And when somebody calls you on it and says, "My God, what are you doing? My God, what are you doing? My God, what are you doing?" You know what you answer? I'm quoting James Madison, the guy who wrote the Constitution of the United States, because that's what he calls people that tried to overthrow the Second Amendment. They are traitors, he said. And the reason he said it is because they are traitors. The Constitution of the United States is so perfect, it allows it to be destroyed. Our founding fathers, the framers of that Constitution, were so confident in their work that they believed it to be self-evident. Our founding fathers and our framers made it very, very clear to all of us that the tree of liberty must be watered from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots. And I'm okay with that. To my bones, I'm okay with it. And all this gobbledygooky and crap about how President Obama is going to somehow overthrow the government or overthrow this nation or destroy the country and so on and so forth is annoying to me. And the reason it's annoying to me is because, as far as I'm concerned, it will never happen. As far as all of my friends are concerned, it will never happen. I dare say that if you are listening to this broadcast at this moment, you are at least reasonably sure that this will never happen. Because we're still here. You know, these people of the left, I mean, it was like all these executive orders and so on and so forth. The president can write any letters he wishes. All he's doing is creating a very busy day for the person who succeeds him. Because all those executive orders will be rendered null and void. Not all of them, but some of them. The ones that upset us the most certainly will be. Because they're destructive to the American experience. The president will be able to leave office and say, "See, I tried to show these worthless clowns how to live a better life, and they rejected it soundly. Stupid Americans." And then he'll go move to France or Germany or someplace like this. He'll live somewhere outside of the United States, and we won't have to deal with him again until he becomes the General Secretary of the United Nations. And as soon as that happens, I would hope that our friends in government would immediately cancel the lease of the United Nations in New York, and that they would relocate in Geneva or Lausanne, Switzerland, or my personal favorite is Jerusalem. I would love to see the United Nations have to meet in Jerusalem. I think that would be it makes me laugh every time I think of it. I thought of it a couple of years ago, and people just laughed and laughed. What a brilliant, ironic punishment for everybody that wanders around in the halls of the United Nations, to have to wander around in the halls of the new United Nations in Jerusalem. This is hysterical. So why did I bring this up if it didn't mean anything? I'll tell you why. Because if you've listened to the broadcast from the beginning, we've been talking about things that the president is intending to do or wants to do or is bragging about doing or what have you, that have no real basis in reality. We're talking about a president who has blown his credibility with the people of the United States. We're talking about a president who has lost his trust, the gift of trust from we the people to his administration. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about, if President Obama had done something so mean-spirited as to vote against or to direct the State Department to vote against Israel in the United Nations, I would write off the remainder of his presidency. And so he did not do that, but what he did was he published a study of the Israeli nuclear weapons program. He declassified it in a mean-spirited attempt to throw gasoline on the Middle Eastern fire, because he wants his buddies to be able to counterweight the Israelis with a nuclear program of their own. That's what he wants. He wants there to be some equality in the Middle East. Maybe it's because he likes big, loud booms and mushroom-shaped clouds. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't care. All I do know is the President of the United States is losing the American people every single day. More and more people are deciding that this president is not helping us. And I don't care what color your skin is, and I don't care what your economic level is, and I don't care what your politics are. The President of the United States is not helping America. He's helping America's enemies in some cases. And why he does that, I don't care. I don't even care. But what I do say is this. The President of the United States, by virtue of these silly little things that the State Department throws out, is not just damaging his administration, but he's damaging the State Department. Now, eventually, the State Department will say, Mr. President, we're not going to play your games anymore. We're just going to wait until you're out of office. But they're not there yet. And I'll say this one more time. I said it a couple of days ago. The Obama administration is turning itself into something we can't turn our backs on. I'm afraid that's going to be this president's legacy. This is the Wells Report.
For almost 2 decades, financial advisor and educator Rick Poston with Empowered Wealth Financial Services has provided peace of mind to thousands who see or hear him in the media or read his work. Rick has been chosen by Bloomberg Business Week magazine as one of the top 20 game-changing financial advisors in the country. A fan of Rick's profound teaching, Brian Tracy, world-renowned business leader, speaker, and best-selling author, has asked Rick to co-author his newest book entitled The Winning Way: where Rick will share with his fans some of the principles that allow Rick's clients to continue on their winning way. If you're looking to break away from that same old investment plan that has provided you with one too many disappointments, stay tuned to 660 AM The Answer every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for the most educational hour on financial talk radio with Empowered Wealth Radio live, or call 469-361-4020.
This is David Davenport of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. June is busting out all over, the song says, and it will soon bust out at the U.S. Supreme Court. June is the month when many of the court's decisions and cases heard over the last 9 months will be announced. Obamacare has been in court since the day it was signed into law, which happens when a massive overhaul to a major system has very little debate or attention to detail. Drafters recently claimed that the issue in court now was a mistake, but it's not the Supreme Court's job to fix congressional mistakes. So the court should decide that Obamacare subsidies are not valid in states that do not have their own exchanges, as the law states, and send it back to Congress and the states. Same-sex marriage is being addressed just fine in the states and lower courts. There's really no need for a major Supreme Court declaration about it, and a conservative court should say so. Either way, decision time is here. I'm David Davenport.
This townhall.com commentary is brought to you by the Salem Radio Network.
There's nothing like foundations in the springtime. Oh, it's a time of change. Hey, Mark Davis from my friends at Abacus Foundation Repair. And with drought and then moisture and then cold and then warm temperatures, your foundations are moving and grooving. You got cracks in the sheetrock and doors that are sticking and all kinds of problems. You want someone who's going to solve them reliably. Call my friends at Abacus Foundation Repair. They've done stuff for me, and you will love how they put somebody on site for your entire foundation repair. They're the only people with Millennium composite pilings. You're going to get a warranty that you can hand down to other homeowners. It's peace of mind and security for your foundation repair. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000 or abacusfoundationrepair.com. Don't be one of those homeowners that says, oh, I wish I'd called a better company. Call the best company right now. Abacus Foundation Repair. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000 or Abacus, ABACUS, abacusfoundationrepair.com.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if you want to whiten your teeth 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free by calling 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
Have you ever noticed that every time the subject of immigration comes up, the conversation just never seems to go anywhere? Our border remains porous, and we want a fence. But a fence, we're told from the people who live in gated communities, just won't work. And so the issue dies, and in a nutshell, nothing changes. Hey, this is Mike Gallagher. Most of you are familiar with my friend Ann Coulter and her no-holds-barred approach to the issues and challenges facing the country we all love. Well, she's at it again. And in Adios, America, Ann is at her provocative best, trying to stop the left from turning our country into a third world hellhole. But she's providing our nation the provocative conversation we need to have, and we need to have it now. Grab a copy of Ann's book and let's start that conversation today.
Adios, America. The left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole from Ann Coulter is out now from Regnery Publishing and available at Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores everywhere.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, and very few people know that I spent the first several years of my life in corrective shoes. My feet wrapped themselves around my lower legs. And I was close to having club feet or club foot, which is a congenital deformity that severely twists the foot downward and inward, making walking very difficult. So when I had a chance to talk to you about Cure International and their project to get rid of clubfoot in Haiti, I said, you know, I have a pretty good idea what that's like. You know, the kids made fun of my shoes, but it was okay because they were the only ones. But when your feet don't point the right direction, you're having a tough time walking. Well, being teased by other kids is just one of the problems. And I can speak about this firsthand. Cure International, with a $400 donation, can fix a clubfoot condition for a kid. If you have $2,800, you happen to run a business, we can give you a business benefactor campaign. More details on that are coming up, including how I will voice your commercial as you get a free advertising campaign on 660 AM The Answer if you donate $2,800 to Cure International. And this is the final week. This problem may seem far away in Haiti, but it's not. While you may be fixing the feet and the walking opportunity for a young kid in a far-flung country, it'll do your heart a lot of good. More details coming up. You're listening to The Wells Report.
If you're thinking about new windows for your home, here's what you have to consider. A quality-minded company that's been in business for a long time that'll be here if you need them in the future. That offers several options for you to choose from with a good warranty and a fair price. Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, co-owner of Statewide Remodeling, and I'm happy to say my company meets all those requirements. We've been installing new windows in Texas homes for over 21 years. Our restoration windows with their fiber core frames are 8 times stronger than hollow core vinyl and twice as strong as any composite frame. The exterior can be finished to match any color Sherwin-Williams offers, and we have 27% more glass area, so you don't lose near the visibility you do with other window brands. We also offer 100% financing to fit almost any budget. If you call now for your free estimate, I'm offering a 20% discount on your complete window and door project. Of course, your price is good for 30 days, so you have time to think it over or shop around. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095, or visit us online at statewideremodeling.com.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace your old AC system? Well, now there's a new program that's too good to pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You've probably already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,000 off from your utility provider? That's right, and when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $4,500 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. So right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. Call us now, or if you want, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
We gave Tom 12 seconds to give 6 reasons why he opened a Mathnasium Learning Center franchise.
Okay. Great income potential. Doing good for kids. Doing what I love. Making math make sense to kids. 500 centers open already. 1 every 3 days. Mathnasium taught me the business. Helps me. Supports me.
Time's up. Pretty good. For franchise information, visit mathnasium.com or take the first step right now. Call 855-361-MATH. That's 855-361-6284.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group. On the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lisa Lisiera. The small upstate New York town of Willsboro, the focus of a manhunt for 2 escaped killers. Stephen Tarsia's brother David was killed by escapee David Sweat.
We were told that he would never get any kind of rights. His life would be sitting in a cell looking at the walls, and that was it. No talking to friends or family members or nothing.
Sweat and Richard Matt went missing over the weekend from the Clinton Correctional Facility. 3 jurors in the Colorado movie theater massacre trial removed from the panel.
One juror said another juror talked about the case with other jurors, that she heard the word mistrial and that the DA had tweeted about the case. The judge questioned multiple jurors, including the one alleged to have talked about the case. She said her husband had called her while she was with other jurors during a lunch break. She put him on speaker and he talked about the tweet.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. There are 12 alternates available. Fox News. We report, you decide.
660 AM, The Answer.
Hey folks, Mike Krejci here, sales manager of 660 AM The Answer. If you are a business owner, I want to talk specifically to you. If you were listening to our station over the last few days, you'll know that we've been supporting one of our favorite charities, Cure International, by offering our Business Benefactor Program. We've had some terrific businesses step up to support the cause, but we need a few more to join in. We are trying to heal kids in Haiti who are born with a condition known as clubfoot. Your gift will help heal a child so they can run, dance, and play, and have a chance at a normal life. 100% of this gift goes to help these children. Here's how the Business Benefactor Program works. Your business donates $2,800 to Cure International, and in exchange, you'll get an advertising campaign to run on 660 AM The Answer during the next 90 days, absolutely free. So you'll be helping your business and these kids all at the same time. Call me today to get started. My number is 214-561-9103. That's 214-561-9103. One more time, 214-561-9103. Thank you.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-700-2629. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-700-2629. 1-800-700-2629.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got an idea. How about making this the summer of you doing better in the stock market? How does that happen? First step is you show up at the New Venture on Wall Street seminars. They're June 19th and 20th in Addison and Fort Worth. Both locations taken care of, and they'll take care of you at nvows.com. nvows.com. New Venture on Wall Street. Pastor David Mitchell's operation, where he imparts wisdom, strategies, some simple things you can do. They taught me how to get in there and just do some things and not others. Timing is everything. When to buy, when to sell, what to do, what not to do. Get a second income stream, maybe retire earlier. It is fantastic wisdom. The seminars are great. They're fun. They're upbeat. And they're coming up June 19th and 20th in Addison and in Fort Worth. Following weekend in Tyler. To get all the information you need, go to 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. nvows.com. New Venture on Wall Street. Do better in the stock market this summer and for the rest of your life. nvows.com. 877-907-TRADE.
This plan is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation and refund period. The administrator and the benefits limited, Dallas, Texas, not available in all states.
You went to the dentist and he said you have to have a root canal and a crown. That's going to eat up almost $3,000. You could get it all for around $1,600. That's almost 50% less because you're a member of RealMedSavings.com. What is Real Med Savings? It's a membership like a discount club that lets you access huge networks of medical professionals for a whole lot less money. You save money because we've already negotiated the discounts. RealMedSavings.com costs less than $1 a day for the whole family. But Real Med Savings is not just for dental. It's doctor's consultations, vision, prescription drugs, and more. There's no long-term commitment and no salesman is going to call. Cancel anytime. Save real money on healthcare you need and use for everyday medical problems. Real medical savings for your entire family. RealMedSavings.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got a question for you. Why is your cell phone bill helping Hillary to become president of the United States? Why did your mobile phone bill go to Obama for 2 elections? If you weren't aware this happened, well, let me confirm it for you and offer you a better way. Big Mobile, the companies you're probably paying for your cell phone service, they contribute all across the political spectrum, some over here, some over there. If it's the over there part that's troubling, I can fix that. Let me hook you up with EOS Mobile, EOS. The website is eoscell.com, EOSCELL.com, and it's a local company. But wait, you're going to save 10 to 15%, and the network service is going to be the same, and you're going to have a fantastic phone selection, same phones, same service, better price, and conservative causes. Let's make the switch today. But Mark, you may say, I'm already tied up in my existing plan. Well, they will buy you out of your current contract. EOScell.com. Check them out. EOSCELL.com, and they're local too. EOScell, EOSCELL.com.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. I want to thank you for joining us. You got here just in time. For what? Well, for somebody that I consider to be one of the most talented human beings on the planet. In fact, I'm an unabashed fan of Ms. Ann Coulter. She's got a brand new book called Adios, America. So without any further ado, here's one of the most brilliant, one of the most incredibly intelligent, one of the best political commentators, one of the greatest television personalities, one of the greatest authors in history, Ann Coulter.
Hello.
There you go. A simple answer to an over-billboarded introduction, but I sure do appreciate you joining us. I've always enjoyed your work. You've only got 10 New York Times bestsellers. You're an amazing author and an amazing political analyst and an amazing commentator, and it's great to have you here on the Wells Report.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm here.
But aside from that, I have no regard whatsoever. No, I'm only kidding. Let's talk a little bit about Adios, America, the left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole. Tell me about the book. Why did you write it?
It wasn't originally going to be this book. This was actually the third book. I had one idea I still think is kind of a good idea. But I'm not sure right now. Maybe it's more of a magazine article. So I rejected that one about a year ago. And then I had a great idea for a book. It was so clear. I saw it all in front of me. I needed to do some research. I drafted a couple of chapters and had done some research. It was going to jump around the way some of my books do, with one larger theme with different instances of it. And then I got to the immigration chapter, which was going to be one of those instances. And when I went to look for, basic facts that I think any American would expect, oh yeah, you can just go on Google and look this up. The facts weren't there. Particularly, I wanted to find out about immigrant crime, and not just illegal immigrant crime. As I say in the book, certain Republicans get really excited about the difference between legal and illegal, but in a way, the legal immigrants are worse. These are the ones our government looked over and said, welcome. Let's get the papers right to you. If they're committing crimes, that says something about our government policy. But I am a fanatical researcher. I was originally a lawyer, and I spent a couple of weeks just looking for something real when it comes to immigrant crime. The census reports, the Department of Justice, victimization surveys, or all the reports the DOJ puts out. I looked through Nexus for media statements about it, online for people arguing about it. I went state by state to look to see if they had anything. Bureau of Prisons is pretty good. That was pretty good. That was the closest I came, I think, in New York State. They've kept reasonably good data on who's in prison. They have to, because different groups have to be kept apart from one another, and that has a lot to do with ethnicity and nationality. So I got a little bit there, but the way it was so hidden, and particularly then when I went to look at the media commentary on it, how the media hides that an immigrant is involved was so fanatical, so neurotic, that I finally called the publisher and said, that book I told you I was writing, still think it's a fantastic idea for a book. Maybe that'll be my next book, but it's not going to be this book, because let me tell you what I found.
Right. And boy, did you find some stuff on this particular subject that you're discussing. You found a guy named Salvador Alemán Cruz. This guy was the world's worst nightmare of a human being who raped young girls.
Except that I have a dozen more like him.
Oh my God, no. Please don't tell me that. I mean,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have run across the exact same problem in researching the Wells report. I have the exact same problem. Trying to find circumstances where I know that there is some element of either an immigrant status or nationality or something, and it is absolutely woefully absent in what is the output of a corrupt media.
Yes. Stunningly corrupt, to the point that, I mean, I think it's, in addition to reading a little bit like Forensic Files, I think it's a fun book to read because it was so hysterical how they go out of their way to hide who the immigrant is. At one point in the book, I list what I started looking for. You start with a headline that describes the perp as man.
Yeah, I love that.
So nothing more specific there. Generally, particularly shocking sex crimes, often involving children, gang rapes, incest rapes, because we are bringing in primitive cultures, and American women have gotten used to not expecting that kind of thing from American men.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Notwithstanding the crazy media to the contrary, constantly ginning up these fake stories of gang rape on college campuses, and then they all turn out to be hoaxes. Meanwhile, the immigrant child rape and gang rape is going on right under their noses, and the headline is "Man." When it's written about it all, you'll also often find in these cases the perpetrator is shocked that anyone thinks he did anything wrong.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's mind numbing. It's all in your book. And I'm like, I read this book and I'm sitting here going, are you flipping kidding me? And I know you're a maniac. I know you're a maniac.
I know. I actually say that in my book.
I do.
I had to bleep it out.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting here reading this book and I'm going, I know you're a maniac when it comes to research and so on and so on. So I know this is a well-researched book and I'm sitting here going, I cannot believe that all of this stuff is in here. Some of the statistics that you come up with are just absolutely eye-watering. I mean,
thank you. Yes, I think so too.
I mean, let's look at this. 40,000 Americans killed by illegal drug use in 2010, surpassing car accidents and shootings as cause of death. This one really opened my eyes. Including 9/11 deaths, about 4,000 Americans have been killed by Muslim terrorists in the past few decades versus 23,000 Americans killed by Mexicans.
And that is an aggressively low estimate. That is excluding like 16 different categories. I think including all state prison inmates where the immigrant is legal. And 1/3 of our legal immigrants are from Mexico. I also like that one because when I was, trying to find out, well, how many Americans have been killed by terrorists, I came across that CNN quote, and it said, CNN calculates that excluding 9/11, X number have been killed, 29 or something.
Right.
And I started to write it in, and I thought, wait a second, why are we excluding 9/11?
Exactly. I mean, talk about corruption in the media. It's absolutely nuts. Ann Coulter is our guest. She is the incredible author of Adios, America, The Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. Now, there was something in here. There's some real meat on this bone here that I want to talk about. Until 1970, a steady 0.1% of the population was in prison. And then Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act, the prison population skyrocketed. Talk about, first of all, why did Teddy Kennedy do the Immigration Act of 1965? And why is it that so many of those people came to this country and then immediately ended up in jail?
Yes. Well, because that's the Democratic base.
Yeah.
And they needed more of them. That really is the answer. I mean, other than the 1964 landslide for LBJ, or if you want to be unlike CNN, I can say not since 1964, but even including 1960 or excluding 64, you have to go back to 1948. Those are the only two elections, the last two elections, where Democrats got a majority of white people to vote for them. So Democrats, looked around the country, saw they were going more left-wing with George McGovern and, the professors and angry divorcees taking over their party. and thought, okay, fine, America, you won't vote for us. We're bringing in ringers then. We tried this the easy way, but you won't vote for us. So we have no choice. And that's what they did with the 1965 Immigration Act. It was a specific evil plan to change the nation's demographics in a way that would be more favorable to left-wing policies. And boy, has it worked. Barack Obama never would have been elected but for Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act. And even if he had been elected, which again, he would not have been, Romney would have won a bigger landslide in 2012 against Obama than Ronald Reagan did against Jimmy Carter in 1980. That's how dramatic the change has been. So obviously we're getting very close to the tipping point, and this book, I hope, will not make you go out and commit suicide, but it might make you call your congressman, because I do think there's still time to change, and the hopeful call for action comes in two short, sprightly chapters at the end. I'll summarize the main point with one quick example, though there's plenty of evidence for this. Romney still would have lost if he had gotten 71% of the Hispanic vote. He would have won if he had gotten only 4% more of the white vote. So what are Reince Priebus and RNC obsessing over, as they have been for 20 years now? How do we get a tiny slice more of the Hispanic vote, which will still vote against us?
Right.
But maybe we can get a little more of them. No, Republicans, drive up the white vote, white vote. That is what Nixon did. That is what Reagan did. My rule of thumb is, if you are not being called a racist by the New York Times, Republicans, you are losing. And the pristine example of that is Pete Wilson in 1994, California. And the reason that's such an important election and such an important year is that in 1994, California had demographics almost identical to our entire nation's demographics right now, about the same percentage of white people, the different ethnic groups, Asian, Hispanic, Black, mixed up a little bit, but about the same. And Pete Wilson was way down in the polls. He was running for re-election. He came out for Proposition 187, which prohibited illegal aliens from collecting any form of government assistance, including schools, healthcare. New York Times went ballistic, denounced the initiative, said it was a racist abomination, and Californians would wake up and this was going to drag Pete Wilson down to defeat. Just haranguing Pete Wilson. You've got to run away from this as quickly as possible. You're headed for defeat. Of course, landslide victory for Pete Wilson. A majority, as for Proposition 187, it passed overwhelmingly. A majority of white people, Asians, blacks, a majority of all three groups supported Proposition 187, many of whom also gave their vote to Pete Wilson, who was so closely associated with it. 30% of Hispanics voted for it.
Yes, indeed. And that's the big thing that drives a lot of people crazy, is that most of the time when Hispanics are given an opportunity to absent themselves from the Democrat harangue, they vote for conservative issues.
Not always, really. I've been told that my whole life about the black vote.
I see.
We're probably not going to win it. Oh, well, we'll get some of them.
Right. Okay. All right. Ann Coulter, our guest on 660 AM The Answer. Adios, America. The left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole. The first thing I saw when I saw the title was, why is the left trying to destroy this country?
Well, a lot of them never cared for this country. That was the other thing I noticed in doing my research. Isn't this odd that all of these people who start to get, weepy about immigrants and how they're making America stronger, well, when they're not saying that, they're denouncing America as racist, sexist, imperialistic, the greediest country in the world. All these are the people who used to go, fight in the Spanish Civil War, or join revolutionaries in Peru and honeymoon in Cuba. These are the exact same people, and then they turn around and instead of fighting with revolutionaries in Spain or Peru, they've decided instead they're going to bring the whole third world here.
It's craziness.
This is how it's their attack on America. This is how they are punishing America.
And I don't understand. I mean, it's the ultimate case of killing the golden goose.
Yes. That's why if this isn't stopped, the country America will be Brazil, not Mexico, unfortunately, because at least Mexico has the benefit of living next to the United States. We won't be living next to the United States. I mean, Canada's good, but it's no United States. And we'll end up with about 10% extremely wealthy people with lots of servants and cheap servants too, hard workers, and the rest of the population will be in abject poverty, which is what we see we're headed to now. Income inequality has been going through the roof since third world peasants have been dumped on the country. Not surprisingly, they're driving down wages at the bottom. That puts pressure on the middle class. The rich get ever cheaper servants as more and more unskilled immigrants are dumped on the country. A lot more welfare use. You have, Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates able to bring in essentially indentured servants under the high-tech visa program. So, whoa, they're making a lot of profits. But all those STEM graduates, as it said, that's science, technology, engineering, math, half of our American STEM graduates can't get jobs, and their salaries haven't risen for about 20 years. Why? Because the high-tech visa program is bringing in cheap employees for those industries. So the very rich are making off like bandits. But the rest of us are becoming poorer, and everything is becoming more expensive, and there are also a lot more of us.
She is Ann Coulter. She's written Adios, America, the left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole. She says we may be at the tipping point, but she has solutions. We're keen on those, and we'll hear those next. You're listening to The Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
In national financial news, a limited number of 2015 U.S. Silver Eagle dollars are now available at an introductory price too low to reveal on the radio. In a moment, we'll provide the toll-free number to call. The Silver Eagle is the largest and purest U.S. silver dollar ever struck. 1 ounce of pure silver, and is the only silver coin guaranteed by the U.S. government for its weight and purity. Over the years, the Silver Eagle has been one of the world's most popular and widely collected silver coins. From time to time, the U.S. Mint has even suspended production during periods of exceptionally high demand. Demand for the 2015 Silver Eagle is expected to be intense, especially at the shockingly low introductory price, forcing a strict limit of just 10 per household. To claim a share of these Silver Eagles and receive a free collector's guide, interested individuals are encouraged to call now. 1-800-500-6706. 1-800-500-6706. 1-800-500-6706.
Save this date, June 25th at 6:30 p.m. Hi, I'm Jon-David Wells from The Wells Report here for Walt Parker and InvestingMakesMeSick.com. June 25th at 6:30 could be the day and time that you take the first step in learning how to manage your investments. Simply make plans to join me at their dinner seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas. No fuss, no hassle, great education on investment choices other than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or annuities with a no-cost meal to boot. You'll learn why you should understand your investments. You'll also find out why they prefer the We Come to You service. They know you've worked hard for your money. Getting the information you need to help you choose how to invest it is the next step. To reserve your spot for this free seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas, call 972-463-3833, 972-463-3833, or register by logging on to InvestingMakesMeSick.com. All investments involve risk. Investments may be considered speculative and incur substantial fees and expenses borne by the investor. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Titan Securities. InvestingMakesMeSick.com and Titan Securities are not affiliated.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely risk-free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now, 1-800-507-2955. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now, 1-800-507-2955. That's 1-800-507-2955. 1-800-507-2955.
660 AM. The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You're listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Her name is Ann Coulter, author of 10 bestsellers from the New York Times. And, oh, by the way, I think she's got another one. This one's called Adios, America, the Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. I can hardly wait until that's number one on the New York Times bestseller list. Because the New York Times,
I wish.
Yeah, New York Times has kind of a dog in that hunt named Carlos Slim, I guess, huh?
Yes, that's why even if this were the number one best-selling book, I don't think the New York Times, they'll come up with a way to fiddle with the numbers. Carlos Slim, it's amazing that people don't know his name. And everybody knows the name of the Koch brothers. Everybody knows David Koch and Charles Koch.
Sure.
Carlos Slim is often billed as the richest man in the world. I'm not sure if they've checked his portfolio this morning. That may have changed. He might be second richest. And a few years ago, he saved the New York Times from bankruptcy.
Right.
I have a bunch of quotes from, the New Yorker, New York Magazine, Wall Street Journal, I think it is, but Forbes. New York Times was headed for bankruptcy. They'd taken out all these loans. They were coming due. They couldn't pay them back. And Carlos Slim steps in, saves the Times from bankruptcy. Now cut to, how does Carlos Slim make his money off legal and illegal immigration to the United States? Suddenly, the New York Times has become surprisingly hysterical on behalf of Mexican immigration to the U.S. It's got to be Mexican.
Yeah.
That's how Carlos Slim makes his money, and the New York Times has never been a particularly pro-American newspaper yet, and still I went back and I read through how they talked about immigration back in the 90s before Carlos Slim came in, and I am telling you the difference is striking. I gave a few examples in the book.
Yes, you did.
Wanted to keep it short and readable. It's only 250 pages, this book. There are 100 pages of footnotes, so it's not as intimidating as it looks. Lots of chapters, lots of headings. I just want people to read this book. But I have many more in the outtakes. Many more. It is very striking how the New York Times changed its coverage. The way Carlos Slim makes money is, well, as a New York Times financial reporter put it, before Carlos Slim became the Times sugar daddy, he got a telecom monopoly through theft. It's an incredibly corrupt government in Mexico. So Carlos Slim is handed a monopoly on telecommunications by his pal, the president of Mexico. So for one thing, he makes money on any calls between the United States and Mexico at exorbitant rates, far above the OECD average. But most importantly, he makes money by especially illegal immigrants, because they're even more likely to send money home and access lots of American welfare. Mexican workers come to America, take jobs, access lots of government programs, and then send half of the money home to their grandmother in Chiapas. Well, then they have money to spend on Carlos Slim products. Carlos Slim owns 40% of the companies traded on the Mexican stock market. But as I say in the book, what good does a monopoly do you in a poor country? A monopoly on air in Burundi would not make you a billionaire. No one has any money. Well, the reason Mexicans have money is because so many other Mexicans are sending money out of the U.S. economy, impoverishing just that money is vacuumed out of the U.S. economy, never available to hire Americans, to buy American products, to tip your fellow Americans, to invest in an American product. That is $20 billion completely removed from the American economy, and an awful lot of it comes from the American taxpayer. So it goes from the taxpayer to the government, to the Mexican worker accessing, food stamps, Section 8 housing, direct payments to immigrants with children, and then it gets sent back to the grandmother in Chiapas, and then it goes into Carlos Slim products or pockets. So we may as well just be writing a check, we taxpayers, for $20 billion a year and handing it to Carlos Slim.
Wow. There is more to this story. I have to keep you for one extra segment, Ms. Coulter. Do you mind?
I would love to.
Thank you so much. We're going to find out about those solutions and a lot more as Ann Coulter decides to spend some overtime with us here on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer. Back with more in just a moment.
Sean Hannity believes the president is delusional.
When I came into office, the United States, in world opinion, ranked below China and just barely above Russia. And today, once again, the United States is the most respected country on earth.
So I've restored the U.S. to the most respected country in the world. That's what he's actually saying now, when just the opposite is now true. We've never been less respected.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is David Davenport of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. June is busting out all over, the song says, and it will soon bust out at the U.S. Supreme Court. June is the month when many of the court's decisions and cases heard over the last 9 months will be announced. Obamacare has been in court since the day it was signed into law, which happens when a massive overhaul to a major system has very little debate or attention to detail. Drafters recently claimed that the issue in court now was a mistake, but it's not the Supreme Court's job to fix congressional mistakes. So the court should decide that Obamacare subsidies are not valid in states that do not have their own exchanges, as the law states, and send it back to Congress and the states. Same-sex marriage is being addressed just fine in the states and lower courts. There's really no need for a major Supreme Court declaration about it, and a conservative court should say so. Either way, decision time is here. I'm David Davenport.
This townhall.com commentary is brought to you by the Salem Radio Network.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, Coulter of Statewide Remodeling. You know, we've been getting some relief from what is usually the beginning of summer here in Texas. And right behind that, the temperature goes up, and so do your cooling bills. We manufacture our windows to beat the Texas heat. Our fiber core reinforced frames are 9 times stronger than other windows, and our glass has 27% more viewing area. We give you better than triple pane performance at a double pane price. Another thing that separates our window from all competitors is we can match our exterior frame to any color Sherwin-Williams offers. So no plain white windows here, or 3 to 4 colors to choose from. And of course, we offer the longest warranty in the industry. It even covers glass breakage and workmanship for as long as you own your home. So if you're ready to see the window that sets the standard in Texas, give us a call. And if you decide it's the one for you, receive 20% off the complete job. The number to call is 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. Or check us out online 24/7 at statewideremodeling.com.
Hey, when choosing a financial advisor, outstanding reputation, decades of experience, and a successful track record are very important. The good news is I have someone I would like for you to meet. Hey, Sean Hannity here for my friend Bob Guess at Texas First Financial. Now, Bob Guess is an author, a speaker, an educator who has taught at SMU and other prestigious campuses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, with his experience and the help of his team, Bob's clients earn a 9% return on their investments. That's a 9% return backed 100% by hard assets and no market volatility. Now it's time you placed your investments with one of Texas Monthly's top advisors. Now I know attractive, predictable, stable returns on your investments are important to you. Call Bob and his team today at 972-570-4444. That's 972-570-4444. For 9% returns and no market risk. Now make sure you check them out yourself. Tell them Sean Hannity sent you.
Geico is available 24/7. Unlike Billy, my boyfriend, who is apparently available 24 never. And with Geico's claim status update, after I report a claim, I receive update alerts through my Geico app. Did you hear that, Billy? Update. Alerts. I sure would like to be updated on why you can't return a text. Maybe I should just be dating Geico.
Claim status updates just a few taps away on the Geico app.
You're running your business, and we at Wix.com know things can get stressful, but creating your website doesn't have to be. With Wix, you can create a professional website all by yourself. It's easy and free. You don't have to be a programmer. Just drag and drop everything into place. It's your website, your style. Show the world what you can do. Go to Wix.com and create your own stunning website today. It's easy and free.
660 AM. The Answer. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
The incredible Ann Coulter is our guest. You're listening to 660 AM The Answer. My name is Jon-David Wells. Ann has decided to stick around for overtime to spend a little bit of time with us. By the way, she has been working on this book, and she has also been working on the audio edition of this book. You can get the audio book next week, if you want to drive wherever you have to go with Ann Coulter reading the book to you, that would be something. And once again, Ann, thanks very much for joining us. Now, we talked a little bit about this tipping point earlier. What is it? How do we get ourselves out of this? Is it too far gone to save?
We are going to have to elect Republicans, and this has to be the number one issue. I evaluate, and if you have any hesitation in saying this is the most important issue, I submit to you that whatever you think is the most important issue, government regulation, taxes, Iran's nuclear program, abortion, we lose all of that. All of that if this country continues down the road it's going, because it will be President Obama from now until the end of time. So everything bad that's happened in the last 7 years, just expect a lot more of it. And slowly Congress will have fewer and fewer Republicans, as happened in California. It didn't happen that slowly. And I think we're getting pretty close to that tipping point right now. Voters have to vote exclusively on immigration. Stop telling me that Marco Rubio is a smooth talker. He tried to foist amnesty on the country. That's the only thing he has done. I go through the other candidates. I think I probably don't need to tell most listeners that Jeb Bush is what we, the technical term is a wolf in wolf's clothing. Talking about illegal immigration being an act of love. Romney was absolutely the best the Republicans have ever had, which is why I was such a big supporter. And I think a lot of conservatives were lied to by people they thought were telling them the truth and calling, but they were calling Romney a rhino, an establishment. He was absolutely the best on immigration. I think he needs to be recruited to get back in, but short of that, I would like to have Scott Walker as vice president. Short of that, I think Scott Walker is looking like the best.
Just a reminder,
the
it
rest,
ends with her.
as you'll see,
No.
They are, do not trust them. Danger, danger, danger. And also start demanding of your media. Do not call these child rapists who have no right to be in this country men. Complain to your local paper. Complain to national papers. The media is hiding this from us. And people have to be aware of it and react to it, and call their congressman and say, we're paying attention now. You're not going to distract us. When we voted for you because you said you were going to stop Obama's executive amnesty, and then you funded it and said, oh, but we bought you a different president. We invited Netanyahu to speak. No, that's great.
Yeah.
Great. Love Netanyahu. I have a chapter on the book. Why can't we do what Israel does? But that wasn't technically why we elected you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward. You got to buy this book. This is on the must-read book list of the Wells Report, Adios America, the left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole. She is Ann Coulter. I'm an unabashed fan. Thank you so much for spending time with us, Ms. Coulter, and thank you for doing all the great work that you do.
Thank you. So great to talk to you.
She is fantastic. I really enjoy Ann Coulter a lot. And I was very, very glad that she wrote another book, so I would have another opportunity to have a conversation like that. Ann Coulter is truly one of the really great, clear-thinking people in our country. And she is a maniac when it comes to researching her books. 40,000 Americans. Listen to some of the statistics from this book. And by the way, I wanted to say that this book was from Regnery, okay? This is from Regnery, and Regnery Publishing also owns this radio station and Salem Media, so just so you know. 40,000 Americans were killed by illegal drug use in 2010, and that was more than car accidents and more than shootings as cause of death. The vast majority of drugs in America are smuggled in from Mexico. Through Texas, by the way. 40,000 Americans. This one was a little arcane. I brought it up in the interview. Until 1970, a steady 0.1% of the population was in prison. Then after Teddy Kennedy's 1965 Immigration Act, the prison population skyrocketed. If the incarceration rate had remained the same, there would only be about 310,000 people in prison today in the U.S. Instead, there are more than 2 million prisoners in the U.S. That's since 1970. The U.S. population has increased by 1/3. The prison population has nearly sextupled. So it's it's because these people come to America and live their life where they come from, and they immediately get thrown in jail for it. She's making the point that we need a real immigration system now. But because the powers that be of the American left politics, the politics of the American left, believe that they need to import people into the United States to cast votes that Americans won't cast, that's why our immigration system is an absolute joke. Immigrants with a high school degree net about $14,642 in government benefits every year. Those without a high school degree collect an average of $36,993 per year in governmental benefits, while the average college-educated American pays $29,000 more in taxes than they receive in benefits. We are floating the boat for a lot of people living in the United States scot-free, free of our regulation, free of our law, free of our taxes, free of everything, and we are paying them to be here. In 1980, California was home to 4.5 million Hispanics. Today, there are officially 14 million. There are more Hispanics in California than there are people in 46 other states, including 9/11 deaths. 4,000 Americans have been killed by Muslim terrorists in the past few decades, versus 23,000 Americans killed by Mexicans. Between 2007 and 2011, 1,300 people were beheaded by gangs in Mexico, including women and children. We always hear about ISIS beheadings, but the greater threat is in Mexico. Does that wake you up at all? This is a book that's on the required reading list of the Wells Report. You need to get this book. You can go to Ann Coulter, AnnCoulter.com, or you can contact Regnery Publishing, or you can also go to Amazon or any large bookstore and get Adios America, the Left's Plan to Turn Our Country into a Third World Hellhole. Here are some, I say that because not only should everybody read this book, especially women should read this book. Let me give you a couple of excerpts from the book. It's not white guys we should fear. She's speaking woman to woman here. Academics, popular culture, Democrat senators, Melissa Harris Perry, fill our brains with apocryphal tales of predatory white males in fraternities and the media, and the military, while carefully concealing the evidence that women have the least to fear from white Anglo-Saxon men. All the gang rapes keep being committed by immigrants. With the media actively covering up the crimes of immigrants, it may take a while to notice, but Anglo-American men were the best women ever had it. Feminists see women as a community apart from men, but the truth is, America is a nation apart from the rest of the world. In no area is that clearer than the treatment of women and children. Latin Americans, Arabs, Asians, and Indians take a distinctly less respectful view of women. The media on immigrant rape versus frat boy rape. And she has rape for frat boy beside that in quotation marks. When a heinous child rape case out of Seattle came to light, it had all the main ingredients of an immigrant crime story, including a perp named Salvador Alaman Cruz. The Seattle Times, the only newspaper to cover the case, headlined the article on his conviction with "Man convicted on 7 counts in child rape case." The only clue about Cruz's immigration status was this from the Seattle Times. After the assaults, Cruz fled to Mexico, and yet they were unsure of his immigration status. And Coulter asks, okay, did anybody ask about his immigration status? In the case of a blindingly false allegation of rape against Duke lacrosse players, reporters pursued details about the accused men like starved bloodhounds. We were told about the men's grades, their classes, their professors' impressions of them, the value of their parents' homes, their private emails, every encounter they've had with the police, and on and on. But a child rapist named Salvador Alemán Cruz needs a Spanish translator in court, flees to Mexico after raping at least 5 little girls, and both the government and the media say, oh yeah, we don't know his immigration status. Why do you ask? Unbelievable. Then she writes about the rape culture coming to America. Try to imagine waking up to this report on American cities. Women, especially if they are young, working class, and poor, run the risk of being murdered and having their mutilated and raped bodies show up some morning in the streets of numerous cities, as evidenced by more than 1,500 cases reported in the last decade that remain unsolved and unpunished. That is a report from the Interpress service titled Latin America, Women Murdered, Raped, and Ignored. Claudio Nash, the coordinator for the Center for Human Rights at the University of Chile, said that in Latin America, being subjected to these kinds of attacks is almost intrinsic to being a woman. They are not seen as violations of basic human rights. Today, Americans are forced to encounter these foreign rape cultures in their own country, and immigrants who thought they were fleeing backward, misogynistic societies are being attacked by the same rapists they knew from back home. And then there's this. Remember in the interview, Ann Coulter said that if you're not being accused of being a bigot by the New York Times, then you really weren't worth your salt as a Republican. Listen to this. Civil rights and discrimination law was meant to address the black experience in America, not to reward any loser with resentments. The idea for civil rights law was this. Okay, we've got 10% of the population that got the short end of the stick for a couple of centuries, so we're spending it all on them. Huge social welfare programs were established for blacks. Affirmative action policies were developed for blacks. We virtually criminalized the use of certain words for blacks, only to have them use them in casual conversation, which always mystified me. There's no justification for civil rights law without blacks. Then Democrats redefine civil rights as the right to get an abortion, the right for a lesbian to take a date to her prom, the right for foreigners to vote in America on ballots printed in their own language, and thus ended the brief era of liberals pretending to care about black people. Until she wrote that, I really didn't get that. But you know what? She's right. Blacks in America came to this country as slaves. Civil rights law was aimed at saving blacks from bigotry, attacks based on bigotry, discrimination based on bigotry, and an unfair life based on bigotry. Okay, so all these civil rights laws being applied to everyone else, what is it? Race, creed, color, national origin, gender ideology, sexual practice. Really? Seriously? So what we've done is created a fragmented society to be exploited by politicians to be able to plunder as necessary for whatever political agenda can be satisfied by the division? No, I'm afraid that Ann Coulter has got it completely exactly right. Hope you enjoyed that opportunity to get to know her a little bit better. Ann Coulter on the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like
free
for you
till
to join me on
11:06.
the talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
I'm John Hill, founder of the Good Contractors List, and this is the Good Contractors List Word of the Month. Next month, we're celebrating Independence Day. When the fireworks go off this year, I want you to think about one thing: how Jesus freed us from the power of sin. The day you surrendered your life to Jesus and accepted his free gift, you were made independent from sin and became dependent on him as your righteousness. I want you to assign a sin to every explosion. Boom! There goes that failure. Boom! There goes that shortcoming. Boom! There goes the sin that'll happen tomorrow. Those of us who put our faith in Jesus as our only righteousness has reason to really celebrate. You live on a fallen planet and you war against your old nature. But the truth is, your old nature and this planet has no rule over you. For the one that the Son has made free is free indeed. I'm John Hill, founder of the Good Contractors List.
The Word of the Month has been brought to you by thegoodcontractorslist.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Today, let's talk about the $29 service call gimmick. Here in North Texas, an experienced service tech costs at least $35 an hour to employ. So how does a $29 service call work? Well, it doesn't unless they find a bunch of stuff wrong with your system. It's just bait to get you to call. We can't come out for $29, and really, neither can they. In this business, you get what you pay for. Reliant Air Conditioning service call is $79, and our guys are all drug tested, background checked, and they don't work on commission. So if you need service on your AC system, call the company that's been gimmick-free since '83. Or if your system needs to be replaced, you can save up to $3,500 per system with Carrier's Cool Cash promotion. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
In 2002, a National Sleep Foundation poll found that 63% of women experience symptoms of insomnia at least a few nights per week. In my opinion, a major reason for insomnia is the Blue Card. It's a shopping and loyalty card, and it's free. That's right, free. No charge, nada. Next, you can receive up to 5% cash back on purchases. Most cards only offer 2% at most. No wonder girls can't sleep. With the Blue Card, you can also get shopping points that you could use for online purchases. So it's cash back and shopping points. Am I keeping you awake? If you refer the Blue Card to someone, you could even earn money on their purchases. No, I'm serious. It's true. But it gets better. If you share the Blue Card with a merchant, you could earn on the purchases of everyone who uses the Blue Card at their store, too. There's no way you're going to get any sleep until you get your own free Blue Card.
To get your free Blue Card, go to bluecardshopping.com. That's bluecardshopping.com. bluecardshopping.com.
Dentist office, may I help you?
Hi, I'd like to cancel my teeth whitening appointment.
Oh, may I ask why?
I found a teeth whitener that works in 5 minutes that I can do from home.
Can I ask what it is?
It's called Power Swabs, and it whitens your teeth in 5 minutes, doesn't leave my teeth feeling sensitive, and it's a lot less expensive than visiting the dentist.
Hi, I'm John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if you want to whiten your teeth 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days, then try Power Swabs. There's no messy strips or trays that you'll have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth and you're done. It removes stains on natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. Try Power Swabs risk-free by calling 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037. I guarantee your friends and coworkers will be wowed by your new white smile. Try it risk-free and get free shipping and handling today. Dial 1-800-281-4037. That's 1-800-281-4037.
Welcome to Staples. How can I help you?
Hey, Staples guy, how do I know I'm getting the best price on this laptop?
Staples will match our competitors' prices, even if you find it online.
What about this tablet?
Price match guarantee.
And the smartphone?
Yep.
What about these ink cartridges, my chances of winning the lottery, and toner?
Guaranteed, no way guaranteed, guaranteed.
Make on budget happen, make best prices happen. Staples, make more happen. This week at Staples, save up to $170 on all HP inkjet printers.
Offer ends 6/13/15 in store and online while supplies last. Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online in retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See storestaples.com for details.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. Now, the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, and there's a group out there called Cure International that could sure use your help. I made a promise to you when I started talking to you on the radio airwaves every single day. I said that if I ever ask you for money, it'd be for a good cause. It'd be because people really need it. And this is another one of those opportunities. Cure International works on fixing clubfoot, a congenital deformity that severely twists the foot downward and inward, making it impossible, or at least incredibly difficult to walk. It is curable. And that's what Cure International does. They want to help the children of Haiti who suffer from this deformity by using your money to give them a shot at a beautifully formed life. Here's the way this works. There are two ways to do it. A $400 donation will completely fund the total cost of treatment for one infant. A $2,800 donation to Cure International this week only, and you will receive a free advertising campaign for your business on 660 AM The Answer. If you ask, I will gladly voice that advertising campaign. Call my dear friend Mike Krejci at 214-561-2164, 214-561-2164. Get started to support Cure International. If you want to donate money for one surgery, go to 660amtheanswer.com or call 855-216-0400. Help these kids out. You'll feel it almost immediately. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
Dennis Prager believes you must think about your kids first.
I can't really put myself in a place of if my father had become a woman, how I would have reacted. Or for that matter, the thought on my children if I became a woman. There's a lot more in life than my happiness. I'm not saying he shouldn't have done it, but there was a lot more in life than my own pursuit of happiness.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM The Answer.
Hi, folks. Alan Thicke here. You know, some things in life are just too serious to take chances on, and owing money to the IRS is definitely one of those. The IRS has the power to garnish your paycheck. They can levy your bank account, even take your home or business. Seriously. Thankfully, with one simple call, you can start solving your tax debt once and for all. Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm in the nation. They have over 250 professionals. They have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau and the trust of thousands of satisfied clients. Optima's attorneys can immediately protect you from aggressive collections because they are experts in the Fresh Start Initiative. That's a special IRS debt forgiveness program that could save you thousands. Don't wait till it's too late. Get serious. Call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-711-5743. 800-711-5743. 800-711-5743. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Save this day, June 25th at 6:30 p.m. Hi, I'm Jon-David Wells from the Wells Report here for Walt Parker and InvestingMakesMeSick.com. June 25th at 6:30 could be the day and time that you take the first step in learning how to manage your investments. Simply make plans to join me at their dinner seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas. No fuss, no hassle, great education on investment choices other than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or annuities with a no-cost meal to boot. You'll learn why you should understand your investments. You'll also find out why they prefer the We Come to You service. They know you've worked hard for your money. Getting the information you need to help you choose how to invest it is the next step. To reserve your spot for this free seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas, call 972-463-3833, 972-463-3833, or register by logging on to InvestingMakesMeSick.com. All investments involve risk. Investments may be considered speculative and incur substantial fees and expenses borne by the investor. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Titan Securities. InvestingMakesMeSick.com and Titan Securities are not affiliated.
This is 660 AM The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Steve Rappaport. The white Texas police officer caught on video throwing a black girl to the ground and pointing his gun at other teens at a pool party has resigned.
Our policies, our training, our practice do not support his actions.
McKinney Police Chief Greg Conley. 3 jurors dismissed in the Colorado movie theater shooting trial.
One juror told the judge that she heard another juror discussing media coverage of the trial with other jurors, that she heard about a request for a mistrial, as well as about a tweet from a prosecutor regarding the case.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert pleading not guilty to charges of violating bank laws and lying to the FBI.
The indictment alleges the former speaker agreed to pay millions of dollars to someone known as Individual A to keep quiet about a prior misconduct stemming from Hastert's time as a teacher here in Illinois.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso. Fox News. We report, you decide.
This is 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, everybody, Mark Davis. Got an idea. How about if we make this the summer of you doing better on Wall Street? How do we do that? We get you into the upcoming seminars for New Venture on Wall Street, NVOWS.com. We have an Addison location and a Fort Worth location for the seminar weekend, the 19th and 20th of June. Weekend after that in Tyler. Learn more at NVOWS.com or a phone number I'll give you here in a second. It's a 2-day event. It's live. It's not a webinar. It's real people. It's great. It's upbeat. It's fun. And you'll leave this course confident in your ability to trade stocks better with more wisdom. And New Venture is going to coach you along the way. It's not just seminar and then, see ya, have a nice life. Nope, they're going to stay with you, helping you along the way to make sure that you have kept in your head the stuff they've taught you. It'll enable you to retire earlier, get a second income stream, things we all want to do. So let me get you into these seminars at 877-907-TRADE, 877-907-TRADE, Addison and Fort Worth, 19th and 20th of June, Tyler the weekend after, 877-907-TRADE. Hey, it's Mark Davis with something I know you do not want to spend your summer doing. Paying 2 mortgages while only living in one house, or stuck in one house that you can't sell when there's another house right over there across town that you'd love to move into, but you can't. If you're stuck in a home you can't sell and nobody else has been able to sell it for you, let me solve that for you. Josh DeShong, my hero. He sold our home. Josh DeShong and the now famous Josh DeShong home selling team. Here's how he works. Marketing budget like nobody else. Energy like nobody else. Putting your house in front of so many people, you only need one buyer. He will find it. Here's his pledge. You'll sit down with Josh DeShong. Talk about a price and a time frame. If your house does not sell at that agreed upon price, in that agreed upon time frame, that's it. Josh DeShong will buy your house. Your house will get sold. That's why his website is getsold.net. Getsold.net. Call Josh today. Get him on your team. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids?
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What if I told you that I knew of a couple of Islamist terrorists that probably should be given an award by those of us who hate the fact that we are in... Let me try this again. No. What would you say if I could tell you about 2 terrorists that would... What would you say if I could tell you the story of 2 terrorists that actually deserve to be recognized for their anti-terrorist good deeds? On the next edition of the Wells Report, I'm going to tell you the story of a couple of guys who were looking to pull off a terror attack and ended up becoming heroes to all of us who believe that terrorism is horrifying. Next time on the Wells Report. Yeah, but they were getting ready to go pull off an attack. Okay? You want that in one piece? Okay, you got it? Mark Davis, thanks very much for this opportunity to show up on the Wednesday edition of the Mark Davis Show. This is Wednesday? Where?
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Okay. Mark Davis, Wednesday morning. Thanks very much for this opportunity to drop by and say hi to those of you who are listening to this amazing radio. Mark Davis, thanks very much for letting me drop by on this Wednesday morning to say hello to all of your listeners. And of course, invite them to join us later for the Wells Report, where we Mark Davis, thanks very much for this opportunity to show up on the Wednesday edition of the Mark Davis Show to tell people what's coming up on the Wells Report a little bit later on this afternoon. How about this? How about two terrorists who actually do something good in the war on terror? I know you can't believe that that actually could possibly be true, but I assure you it is. And you don't want to miss the story that goes with it next time on the Wells Report. And we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
Your local pharmacist is also a Health Mart pharmacist, and they're not like other pharmacists.
After Mom's surgery, I was overwhelmed, but I was so relieved. Her Health Mart pharmacist was there to help. They explained her medication and even delivered to her house. Mom got the personal service she needed, and I got something even better. Peace of mind.
Visit healthmart.com to find a locally owned Health Mart pharmacy near you. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Hi, how are you? You having a good evening? Me too. Let's find out what's going on in the mind of Corey in Dallas, Texas. Corey, welcome to the Wells Report. Good to have you here.
Hey, Jon-David. How's it going?
I'm hanging tough. I'm living large. What are you doing tonight? Why are you out so late? Does your mother know where you are?
Getting off of work.
I'm glad you're here, man. What's up?
Hey, I wanted to give you the insight from a black person's point of view.
Okay.
On a lot of the civil rights law. Reading a lot of the civil rights law, yeah, there was a lot of discrimination and everything that went on. But on a bunch of the modern civil rights law that was created, it was created because no other race in the history of the world has been decimated as much as ours. Because the reason I say that, every other culture that was in society that's been, put in slavery or rejected or dejected, however you want to say it, they were allowed to keep some sense of their own culture, some sense of their own belief.
Yeah.
Our culture wasn't allowed to do that. And a lot of the social programs that were created, they were created by FDR, mainly for white America. But the thing with us, it was a way that the government didn't have to deal with the reparations argument. It was a way of them trying to cover up what happened.
Well, let me ask you. Let me take this one step at a time, Corey. I'm going to give you all the time you want.
Okay.
So let's take this one step at a time. First of all, there were reparations, right?
Yes and no. And the reason I say that is you can give somebody something, but if they don't understand truly what you gave them, which is a lot of cases for a lot of the civil suits today, you give somebody something, they don't understand the system, they can't read, they can't write. You make every law that's against them for them to learn how to read and write and understand what's going on. It's a sense of entrapment. And that's what happened to a lot of our ancestors.
Well, let's keep working on that particular story, because what I was talking about, Corey, was the fact that slaves were given 40 acres and a mule.
That's what I'm talking about.
They were given a section and a mule.
Right.
Now, hang on. I'll get to what you're saying here. Now, yeah, it's understandable that not only would they have trouble trying to put together all the things necessary to go from being a farm worker to being a farm owner. This shows that even back then, even in the post-Civil War America, that government was a blunt instrument, right? Now the thing about reparations to me is this, is that, one, I believe that if indeed there was some sort of form of easily traceable reparations, what would end up happening is that there would be no basis for civil rights law in the 60s.
I wouldn't actually say that, because a lot of those people back then, a lot of my ancestors weren't able to enjoy the full benefits of those reparations because.
Well, but let's talk about what could be done at the time. I mean, there wasn't anything else to be done. All we can do is give you land and give you essentially a tractor, which is what the mule was. Okay, and so think about that right now, Corey. I mean, 40 acres, that's a lot, but it was taken away from the bigots that wandered around, the Missouri Riders and all those guys, that terrorized all those slave owners that were now landowners. Further, with land ownership came the vote. So when you start thinking about these things, Corey, I mean, we're in a situation where that all happened 150 years ago. Now, say, for example, we fast forward today and we hear people say that there should be reparations. Well, if there's reparations, that turns off everything after they're paid. Think about all of the money that has been spent from 1965 to 2015. In that half century, think of all the money that has been spent on the Black experience in the United States. Baltimore being a perfect example, $1.8 billion just in that city.
Okay.
Think about the amount of money that was spent in Detroit. Think about the amount of money that was spent in Philadelphia. Think about the amount of money that was spent in Atlanta. When you start thinking about that, the reparations argument vaporizes because money that came out of the American treasury to support the Black experience in America, which, by the way, the Black experience in America, it's a huge amount of money, Corey. And there's something else. When you start talking about the African Americans, the Black Americans that came to this country as slaves, there was absolutely no. I mean, it was a decimation. It was worse than a decimation, because a decimation is where they kill every 10th person. They killed an entire range of societies and civilizations and rituals and mores and systems of law and systems of society, all because they wanted cheap farm labor. I mean, it was horrific and it was terrible, Corey. And so that's why and Coulter is talking about all of the things that were set up as a part of the civil rights law had to do with taking care of you, taking care of those people who had been, for all intents and purposes, destroyed in every way except physically. And, oh, by the way, some of them destroyed physically.
Okay, this is what I have to say to that.
Sure.
There was no direct impact in regards to reparations. The reason I say that, every race that was granted reparations, whether it was the Indians, they were allowed to keep their language, their system of values, their cultures, their laws. They were, in fact, given a whole country as a section of a country in regards to the reservations. And federal law backs that up in a lot of cases today. As the Japanese in the camps in World War II, they were given $20,000 cash each. But they understood laws, they understood taxes, they understood how to read, how to write, how to sign a contract.
Sure.
Okay? When you give somebody something that has no clue, that has the education of a kindergarten child, even a child looks at, if you give me something that's mine.
Right.
All right? The way the U.S. society was set up was when we give you something, you still have to pay on it.
Yeah, but Corey, this is 2 centuries ago. You didn't deal with this.
Right, but listen what I'm saying. Okay, that decimation has affected African Americans today because our grandparents went through some of that stuff in the civil rights era. Our grandparents did things for us that allowed us to become, who we are today.
Right.
And right now, our generation the past two generations, my parents' generation and my generation, we're trying to pick up the pieces and put the puzzle together and rebuild our civilization as a race.
I understand that, and you're exactly right, and that is your life's work, and I got that. Okay, but I can also point to a half a century of what is the best this nation could possibly do for you.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying. The direct impact that I speak of, the direct impact that affected I guess you could say the American Indians, and the direct impact that affected the Japanese, there was a betterment of their race. There was a betterment of their culture. There was a stepping stone, and there was a direct impact to their household as receiving those things.
Well,
okay,
yeah, but what you're whoa, Corey, what you're forgetting is what they had to go through to get them.
Right, we went through way worse than they did.
Well, it depends on your point of view. Okay, you were released in place. Okay,
right,
you were released in place, and what happened to the Indians is that they were in forced marches to parts of the country they had no idea about. And how to and they were forced onto reservations that were set aside by the government, and the rules changed, and the rules changed, and the rules changed. You don't have to go back as far as we have to go back for your ancestors. We don't have to go as far back for the Indian culture to be able to see that once again, they were given their nation was taken away from them. And we, in good faith, tried to give them a nation in return. You are in a situation where by the time you got to the United States, we had no idea what tribe you came from, what part of Africa you came from, what your standards were, and neither did you, because you had been separated from everything you knew. You had a village lifestyle that was turned into a metropolitan lifestyle if you were living near Atlanta or any big city in the South, and an agrarian lifestyle, and all of these things in a completely different part of the world. And you had absolutely no idea what these plants were, and you had absolutely no idea what the hazards were. You don't see many bears in Africa, for example.
But listen to me, every section of Africa wasn't just villages. There were sections that were actually total cities that were decimated by the slave trade. The slave trade started with over in the Caribbean.
Well, no, those are the people who had the ships. Let me tell you a story about something you may have forgotten about. Do you know about Liberia?
Yeah.
Okay, Liberia, a state in West Africa, was established by citizens of the United States as a colony for former African-American slaves and their free black descendants. It is one of only 2 sovereign states in the world that were started by citizens of a political power as a colony for former slaves of the same political power, the other one being Sierra Leone. In June of 1847, Liberia proclaimed its independence from the United States, but although it retained its independence through the scramble for Africa, the country remained in the American sphere of influence. Until 1980, the state of Liberia was dominated by a small minority of black colonists and their offspring, known collectively as the Americo-Liberians. See, when you start talking about what should have been taken care of, or what should have been this, and so on and so forth, at least when you start thinking about the last 50 years of affirmative action programs and civil rights programs, and you start thinking about going back into the century that we're actually discussing, the United States government has done a huge amount to repatriate you, your families, and your cultures as we could possibly do.
Let me give you the true story of Liberia.
Well, okay, I just gave you like a little taste of it.
Right. But let me give you the actual American version of Liberia.
Well, okay. I tell you what, hang on, Corey. Hang on, Corey. Don't go anywhere. We got to take a quick break here, and we'll come back and we'll spend a little bit more time talking about it. The thing about it is this: when people say that the government of the United States hasn't done enough or hasn't done anything or what have you. What we're doing here is we are insulting virtually everything that has been done. We are talking about, in my lifetime, a half century of outreach from the American government and the American society to the African American experience in the United States. That does count for something at some point. This is the Wells Report.
This is David Davenport of the Hoover Institution for Townhall.com. June is busting out all over, the song says, and it will soon bust out at the U.S. Supreme Court. June is the month when many of the court's decisions and cases heard over the last 9 months will be announced. Obamacare has been in court since the day it was signed into law, which happens when a massive overhaul to a major system has very little debate or attention to detail. Drafters recently claimed that the issue in court now was a mistake, but it's not the Supreme Court's job to fix congressional mistakes. So the court should decide that Obamacare subsidies are not valid in states that do not have their own exchanges, as the law states, and send it back to Congress and the states. Same-sex marriage is being addressed just fine in the states and lower courts. There's really no need for a major Supreme Court declaration about it, and a conservative court should say so. Either way, decision time is here. I'm David Davenport.
This townhall.com commentary is brought to you by the Salem Radio Network.
Hey folks, Mike Raichi here, sales manager of 660 AM The Answer. If you are a business owner, I want to talk specifically to you. If you were listening to our station over the last few days, you'll know that we've been supporting one of our favorite charities, Cure International, by offering our Business Benefactor Program. We've had some terrific businesses step up to support the cause, but we need a few more to join in. We are trying to heal kids in Haiti who were born with a condition known as clubfoot. Your gift will help heal a child so they can run, dance, and play, and have a chance at a normal life. 100% of this gift goes to help these children. Here's how the Business Benefactor Program works. Your business donates $2,800 to Cure International, and in exchange, you'll get an advertising campaign to run on 660 AM The Answer during the next 90 days, absolutely free. So you'll be helping your business and these kids all at the same time. Call me today to get started. My number is 214-561-9103. That's 214-561-9103. One more time, 214-561-9103. Thank you.
I had the home of my dreams, but one day I noticed cracks in the wall by the front door as well as the kitchen window. A neighbor recommended Abacus Foundation Repair. He said they're the best foundation repair company in Dallas, and they use an advanced system on your foundation called Millennium Composite Pilings that'll last 1,000 years. Well, I went to their website, abacusfoundationrepair.com, and saw that they have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and the world's leading service company website recommended them highly. And the best part? They haven't had a complaint in the last 13 years. So I called them, and I'm happy I did. Abacus Foundation Repair guaranteed their work, and they gave me a lifetime transferable warranty. If you see cracks in the walls of your home or your doors don't shut properly, call Abacus Foundation Repair at 972-406-9000. That's 972-406-9000. Or go to abacusfoundationrepair.com. If you want your foundation fixed right the first time, call Abacus Foundation Repair.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret the credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Debt Relief Advocates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-791-6811. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-791-6811. That's 1-800-791-6811. 1-800-791-6811.
Hey, when choosing a financial advisor, outstanding reputation, decades of experience, and a successful track record are very important. The good news is I have someone I would like for you to meet. Hey, Sean Hannity here from my friend Bob Guess at Texas First Financial. Now, Bob Guess is an author, a speaker, an educator who has taught at SMU and other prestigious campuses in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, with his experience and the help of his team, Bob's clients earn a 9% return on their investments. That's a 9% return backed 100% by hard assets and no market volatility. Now it's time you placed your investments with one of Texas Monthly's top advisors. Now I know attractive, predictable, stable returns on your investments are important to you. Call Bob and his team today at 972-570-4444. That's 972-570-4444 for 9% returns and no market risk. Now make sure you check them out yourself. Tell them Sean Hannity sent you.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report, must-hear radio on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Corey's joining us from Dallas. Corey, here's we're talking about the African American experience in America, but let's get back to the original context of the conversation.
Okay, let me give you the thing on Liberia though, real quick. Okay, Liberia was established, as the government said, for freed African slaves. But what you fail to realize, what they did was went over to Africa, grabbed a coastal swamp, grabbed a bunch of guys and threw them on a boat and said, "Hey, here's your country." The thing about that, none of those guys could read, write, or had a system of direction, a government, or any kind of law. And also, when they sent those guys over there, President Lincoln was a separatist. He wasn't a friend to the African American people.
Actually, I'm sorry, but President Lincoln wasn't even on the map. I mean, we're talking about in June of 1847. That's when Liberia proclaimed its independence from the U.S. This was something. This is something that predated the Civil War. Now,
right, but this is what I'm saying. The government established the Bureau of African American Affairs, and that's when they grabbed slaves and put them on a boat.
Corey.
Okay.
Let me give you some news here. With regard to this.
Because Frederick Douglass was the one that came on
beginning in the Second World War, hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, here we go. In the Cold War, let's forget about the Second World War. After World War II, the U.S. pressured Libya to resist the expansion of Soviet influence. Between 1946 and 1960, Liberia received $500 million in unrestricted foreign investment, mainly from the U.S. From 1962 to 1980, the U.S. donated $280 million in aid to Liberia. In the 70s, under President Tolbert, Liberia strove for a more non-aligned and independent posture and established diplomatic relations with the Soviet Union, China, Cuba, and Eastern Bloc countries. It severed ties with Europe, with Israel, and so on and so forth. And the way that ended up working is that these people made decisions. They could read and write. They had a country that was working. They had an extensive rubber trade, and the United States has been floating Liberia basically until it told us that we would rather go with the Soviet Union. So the simple case of the matter is this, is that no one guarantees success, but we do, and we have guaranteed opportunity. Guaranteed it, backed it up with big amounts of money. Now, what you do with the opportunity, well, that's not on us.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
Okay. And, oh, by the way, if at first you don't succeed, we helped you again and again and again and again, and we still do. But then again, let's look at it from a fair basis. Most people that fail in the United States get help. That's one of the great things about this nation. Now, before you go, the point of the matter of all of this wasn't to do a recitation of the American Black experience. What Ann Coulter was talking about in her book was that everything that we have done, and nobody begrudges, right? Nobody begrudges any of this. What the United States did was create a way to make sure that Black Americans had the opportunity and help they needed. And they put good money into it. But that doesn't necessarily transfer to anybody who happened to travel to the United States illegally, for example. We have an obligation to Black Americans, and we have discharged it beautifully. And Coulter's point is that when it comes to civil rights law, we don't owe that to any other group of people. We do owe it to you. This is the Wells Report. Save this day, June 25th at 6:30 p.m. Hi, I'm Jon-David Wells from the Wells Report here for Walt Parker and InvestingMakesMeSick.com. June 25th at 6:30 could be the day and time that you take the first step in learning how to manage your investments. Simply make plans to join me at their dinner seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas. No fuss, no hassle, great education on investment choices other than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or annuities with a no-cost meal to boot. You'll learn why you should understand your investments. You'll also find out why they prefer the We Come to You service. They know you've worked hard for your money. Getting the information you need to help you choose how to invest it is the next step. To reserve your spot for this free seminar at Papado Restaurant in North Dallas, call 972-463-3833, 972-463-3833, or register by logging on to InvestingMakesMeSick.com. All investments involve risk. Investments may be considered speculative and incur substantial fees and expenses borne by the investor. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Titan Securities. InvestingMakesMeSick.com and Titan Securities are not affiliated.
Summer is here, and many of you will be experiencing air conditioning issues. The Good Contractors List is here to protect you from the air conditioning companies that upsell and take advantage of homeowners when their systems break down. We've hand-selected the most honest and affordable air conditioning companies in DFW, and we back their work with our own $10,000 guarantee. They've all agreed to offer a free second opinion if you're being told you need to replace your equipment. Find guaranteed contractors from every field at thegoodcontractorslist.com.
Only at the Good Contractors List.
Hi, I'm John Hill, founder of the Good Contractors List, and I'm here to warn you about a coming invasion.
Invasion of the Storm Chasers.
Yep. It's storm season, the time when everyone and their brother thinks they can be a contractor, and thousands of out-of-towners swarm the DFW area to capitalize on damages caused by storms. You don't ever have to fall prey to a storm chaser. Go to thegoodcontractorslist.com and find local home services backed by our $10,000 guarantee.
Only at the Good Contractors List.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace your old AC system? Well, now there's a new program that's too good to pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You've probably already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,000 off from your utility provider? That's right, and when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $4,500 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. So right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. Call us now, or if you want, call two other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. The LASIK Vision Institute is now offering dramatically low prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved LASIK technology for a fraction of what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-700-2629. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra 20% discount off our already low-cost services. We've already performed over 1 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve at a fraction of what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-700-2629. 1-800-700-2629.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972 325-6644 or getsold.net.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report is on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. How are you? Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. I want to know something from you. Can you tell me how many bounce checks President Obama has? Do you have any idea how many bounce checks Hillary Clinton has? Let me ask you this. How many car accidents has President Obama had while he was driving his own cars? Or did he ever drive his own cars? Do you know? Do you have any idea how much money Michelle Obama spent on jewelry last year? Do you have any idea what cologne Hillary wears? Stop it. Let's just stop it. Okay, that was a bad question. Let's just... Magic Matt Sweeney looked at me and mouthed Old Spice. Wow. Okay. That was funny, Matt. That's good. Okay. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Do you have any idea at all what Nancy Pelosi drives? The reason I'm asking all these questions is because in the early parts of the presidential run for 2016, we now know how much money Mrs. Jeb Bush spent on jewelry. We now know also what kind of driving record not just Marco Rubio has, but what the driving record of his wife is. Today, I'm having a real tough time with the New York Slimes. And the reason I'm having trouble with that newspaper is because it has published the financial records of Marco Rubio during his political career. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things, or 3 or 10, that I want to make absolutely flipping clear. Okay? Back in the old days, when you went to school, there was this class called home economics. Do you know what home economics taught you? It taught you how to do a grocery list. It taught you how to pay your electric bills. It taught you how to balance a checkbook. It taught you how to cook and clean. It taught you how to do your laundry. It taught you a lot of things about living. It was one of the first casualties of the brand new enlightened leftist garbage that we have been treating ourselves to and our children to, inflicting on our children more likely, for the last 3 generations. Along with music and theater and all the other things that people don't need. And the reason that we don't have those programs anymore is because we have just as many, quote, administrators in a school as we have teachers. So essentially, we have 2 complete staffs of faculty sucking money out of the school system, along with things like home ec and theater and music programs and everything that ain't reading, writing, and arithmetic. But we do have a whole crap load full of adults in schools thanks to the magnificent leftist enlightenment. It took me a damn long time to figure out how to balance my checkbook after I was an adult for a damn long time. Finally, a little thing called the internet and Wells Fargo bill pay enabled me to be able to come up with a really good and smooth way to keep track of my finances. And even with all of that, I occasionally make the dumbest mistakes that cause train crashes financially that I have had to use various ways of fixing. For example, overdraft protection. Okay? It gets used once or twice a year because I make a mistake. Although I was just thinking about that as I was spewing just moments ago, I realized I don't know that I bounced any checks in 2014. I know I haven't bounced any checks in 2015. Actually, they don't bounce at all because they get paid through other means, but I haven't used any overdraft protection. But as I read the New York Slimes, I get to read, for years, Senator Marco Rubio struggled under the weight of student debt, mortgages, and an extra loan against the value of his home, totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's called a second mortgage. Have you got a second mortgage? In 2012, financial salvation seemed to have arrived. A publisher paid him $800,000 to write a book about growing up as the son of Cuban immigrants. In speeches, Mr. Rubio, a Florida Republican, spoke of his prudent plan for using the cash to finally pay off his law school loans, expressing relief that he no longer owed a lady named Sally Mae. But at the same time, he splurged on an extravagant purchase, $80,000 for a luxury speedboat. At the time, Mr. Rubio confided to a friend that it was potentially inadvisable to lay out that kind of money, but he couldn't resist. The 24-foot boat fulfilled a dream. How dare Marco Rubio spend any money that he earned completely legally on a dream? Among the serious contenders for the presidency, Marco Rubio stands out for his youth, his meteoric political rise, and for the persistent doubts about his financial management. To the point that Mitt Romney's presidential campaign flagged the issue when vetting Mr. Rubio as a possible running mate in 2012. Many of those troubles have played out in an unusually public way, leading even some of his supporters to worry. As he rose in politics, he sometimes intermingled personal and political money, using a state Republican Party credit card years ago to pay for a paving project at his home and for travel to a family reunion and putting his relatives on campaign payrolls. God knows nobody does that in the Democrat Party. Other moves seem simply unwise, and on and on and on. You know what? You know what this is? This is a flipping hit piece by the New York Slimes. You know why? Because they're worried about Marco Rubio. You know why? Because he represents something they'll never have. What is that? The interest of the American people. That's what it is. We don't know anything about this when it comes to Hillary Rodham Clinton. We have no idea about her personal finances. We have no idea about the personal finances of Barack Obama or Michelle Obama or Nancy Pelosi or Barbara Boxer or Dianne Feinstein or Harry Reid or any of those people. We don't have any of that information at all on any of those people. You know why? Because there is no right-wing biased, corrupt media to counterbalance the left-wing biased, corrupt media that reports on Republicans. Fortunately, I don't have to defend Marco Rubio because Marco Rubio can defend Marco Rubio. This is from Fox News Latino. Marco Rubio has fired back at the New York Times after the newspaper ran a story focusing on the Republican presidential candidate's purported financial struggles and his family's traffic offenses. The New York Times today attacked Marco because he could not afford to pay for college, arrogantly describing his student loan debt as a deep financial hole of his own making. This, according to Rubio Communications Director Alex Conant. The attack from the Times is just the latest in his continued hit pieces against Marco and his family. The New York Times also described an extravagant luxury speedboat that Rubio had purchased with an $800,000 advance in 2012 for his memoirs, but Conant refutes the description of the vessel. That's not accurate. It's a family fishing boat. The New York Times piece, which cites a review of Florida Senator's financial records and sources close to him, claims that Rubio bought the $80,000 24-foot speedboat and a $50,000 Audi Q7 while struggling to pay off a student loan and a second mortgage. Along with the article, the paper posted a photo of Rubio's home in West Miami with the caption, "The Rubios live in a home in West Miami that is one of the most expensive ones in the area. However, the residence is modest by South Florida standards." I know these attacks are a part of running for president, but the fact remains we cannot rely on the media to tell our campaign story. The article also indicated that doubts about Rubio's financial choices prompted former presidential candidate Mitt Romney to flag him during the vetting process for vice president. The New York Times piece is only the latest in a series of recent articles that call into question Rubio's financial management. Last week, the politician finally sold the Tallahassee home he co-owned with scandal-plagued former Florida Congressman David Rivera. The three-bedroom house had foreclosure proceedings initiated on it in 2010 by the bank that held the mortgage. He also recently consolidated debt in his primary residence in West Miami. The original mortgage required only payments of interest on the principal in the first decade. Rubio has only paid about 4% of the overall principal since buying the house. At the end of last year, Rubio was worth no more than $355,000. This, according to an analysis of his personal financial disclosures, records filed with the Senate. That does not include any equity he may have in his West Miami home or proceeds expected from his second book, published in December. In an effort to clear up what it calls a smear campaign by the New York Slimes, Rubio's campaign released a series of facts about his personal finances. Among other things, the campaign stated that Rubio has a single debt, the mortgage on his home, and that he paid over $150,000 in student loans from his undergraduate and law degrees. Last week, the Times also published an article that widely criticized by conservatives and media watchdogs for its report that Rubio, along with his wife Jeanette, had received 17 moving violations. Rubio only picked up 4 of them, which means that in approximately 20 years, he got 4 tickets in 20 years. Me too. You know what? This garbage is beneath we the people of the United States and the American experience. The New York Times is committing suicide, is absolutely impaling itself on nothing more than ridiculous partisan crap. I don't care about Marco Rubio's finances. I don't care. If he has done something wrong, charge him. Otherwise, I want to know what he's going to do with foreign policy in this nation. I want to know what he's going to do with domestic policy in this nation. I want to know what Marco Rubio wants to do to be able to move this country back into a position of being able to project power into the world and start knocking off ISIS jackasses that run around the Middle East killing people for fun. I want to know what he's doing about that. I could care less whether he has a fishing boat. He's Cuban. A boat is a big deal to Cuban people. They love the ocean. They live on an island. Boats are important. Okay, great. Now I don't even care about the boat. I paid $3,000 for a 70 El Camino SS 12 years ago. If we're going to do this, If we're going to do this, New York Times, then I want to know all the dirt that's underneath every fingernail of every Democrat presidential candidate going to 2016. And if you can't prove it, and if you can't provide it, rather, then what I want is an apology. I want the facts. I'm not interested in the personal problems of anyone. I want to know what they do as professionals. That's what I want to know. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
With everything going on, Bill Bennett doesn't understand the president's approval rating.
Losing ground with ISIS. The economy still has not recovered. Race relations are worse. Crime is going up. Not many signs of serious recovery, more pessimism about the future. I think its approval rating ought to be 0, but it's 47%.
Bill Bennett's Morning in America, weekday mornings at 5, right before the Mark Davis Show at 7 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
If you're turning on the AC for the warm days of spring and it's just not working or not cooling the way it should, time to call Walker Air Conditioning.